Can't laugh anyway. Josh, how do we? Yeah. What do we say or do at this point, Josh?
Just need to take it on the chin, John. That's all we can do. You know, It was a set piece and a deflected goal.
That killed us.
That killed us. It wasn't some brilliant pieces of play. They weren't playing us off the park or anything like that. But then once we go 2-0 down with Spurs, and we haven't got the mentality to do.
Do you know what? The heads dropped, didn't they? Because that's the thing. Definitely. When we're on top and we're playing really well, you said if we don't get this goal, then it might hurt us. And then if you don't get that goal, then they get the goal. You can see that it could affect the confidence of the team, and that's what I think happened. That you could see the heads dropped a little bit. They weren't working hard. They weren't aggressive enough.
Yeah.
And it was almost just a little bit like.
And the changes.
Which changed? The Lo Celso and then Ndombele.
The Lo Celso and Ndombele change. Yeah.
Yeah, which you were like, you'd keep them playing forever, wouldn't you? Those two, never ever take them off.
No, I would have kept one of them on.
Yeah,
I don't care who.
I get the logic.
I would have
behind
kept
that.
one of them on.
Yeah,
because
you were saying you needed some kind of water carrier, someone that can thread a pass through the lines to relieve the pressure
dribble,
off.
And is press resistant. There's nobody in that midfield that can do anything remotely close to what those two can do.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So
I don't think it was just. I know what you're saying. I don't think it was just that. I just think we didn't show up for that whole second half. Every single one of those players weren't working hard enough. It was just like the basic errors in that second half. You know, basic mistakes, not closing the ball down well enough.
What did you think of our defenders?
Yeah, I actually thought that the centre backs, they looked good, didn't they?
Yeah,
they looked good. But then they got so exposed second half. I felt a little bit sorry for them because there was no protection in front of them. I think for that second goal, I know Kante. I know it was a wild deflection, but still, there should be someone closing that ball down.
100%. Yeah.
And there wasn't.
That might be what Nuno was thinking, bringing on Skip, but that's fair enough.
He had too many touches there. That was just too easy for him to get that shot off. Even though it was a deflection, it was a little bit unlucky. So, I don't know. There's lots to talk about here, and I've got my favourite person in the world here coming on. Let's get the headphones out. Josh, you need some headphones, my son.
Yeah,
they're on the floor.
Oh, God.
We didn't prepare ourselves well here. Stay with us, Cody.
Oh, no, they're falling out as well.
Oh, Jesus. Jeez Louise.
Where do they...
Oh, no, the little ones.
Oh,
the little
ones,
headphones.
Yeah?
Well, just talk amongst yourselves, ladies and gentlemen. We will we'll be with you in a sec.
Get this.
All right.
Right, is this going to work for me?
I think... Say something,
Say
Cody.
something.
Hello?
No,
you can't hear that. Okay,
it's out. Look, here we go.
Oh, he's unplugged. Right, hold that thought, Cody.
Where does it go in? Probably where those
one
are.
Of these. We're having a wire issue. Which one of these wires is it? It's like Lethal Weapon. Which one is it?
Say something again, Cody. Oh, I can just about hear him.
You can just about hear him.
And there's this as well.
All right, we're going to crank you all the way up.
Say something again, Cody.
Now. Hello.
Quiet.
You can't hear anything.
Really quiet. Shall I try the other ones?
Okay, Cody. Josh, you do that whilst I try and maintain some semblance of order here.
I've never got to speak to him.
I'll kick things off whilst you do the headphones. Cody, sorry about that. Sorry, my friend. Whilst he's beavering around doing that. Another 3-0 defeat, Cody. How can you even attempt to break that down?
I don't know. I don't think like it should be the end of the world. I know like you see the reaction going on Twitter and various group chats and everything. It's a little bit. It's always disappointing to lose, but you have to remember we're playing the champions of Europe, quite possibly one of the top 3 teams in all of Europe right now. And I honestly thought we looked quite good in the first half, and I think most people would agree. But I just worried while we were playing that high press and that high intensity that we were just going to expend our energy and not have anything left for the second half. And between that and the tactical changes that Tuchel made at halftime, and of course being able to bring on arguably one of the top 3 midfielders in all of world football in N'Golo Kante, just completely changed the game. And like you guys were saying, once the second goal went in, we were really up against it. So I really hope that in terms of the lineup that this isn't like, last year in the FA Cup we had a game against Everton where Jose decided to be attacking and play open football, and we played a back and forth game with Everton. And in the post-match press conference, Jose was kind of like, there you have it. There's your attacking football. So I really hope that this wasn't like a type of like watershed moment where like Nuno has put out this lineup because he's come under duress from fan pressure or pressure from Daniel Levy, and now he's going to go away from it, because I really think that lineup showed a lot of promise in the first half, but obviously a better result would have been nice, but I don't think it's anything to really panic about personally.
If you had to guess, because Cody, that is exactly what I said. I'm worried that this is he's only picked this lineup out of pressure that, we've been complaining about defensive football and stuff like that. Do you think that we're going to see Lo Celso and Ndombele moving forward? Or what do you think is going to happen here? Do you think it was just a throwaway, that was your attacking football, and now he's going to revert to type? Because I feel like those changes, taking off both of them at the same time, was actually him reverting to type and going, oh my God, look, we're losing, I need Skip and, Højbjerg on the field at the same time and all that. Do you know what I mean? That's what I feel was happening there. So what do you think?
I feel like the only reason that Lo Celso and Ndombele started together was because Oliver Skip is currently still carrying a knock and isn't like fully fit. Like he wasn't capable of playing 90 minutes. I think it was inevitable with the two of them, seeing as really they've never been able to complete 90 minutes of effective football. Putting them in the first 11 together was always going to result in those two needing substituted. But the problem was, not only did they expend their energy and run out of gas, but the entire 11 did. Like everybody was walking around the pitch at the end there. And, I mean, it's kind of depressing, but really, we just can't play football for more than like 40 minutes as a squad right now. And I don't know how long that's going to take to change, or if we're going to just not be able to play. Because that first half, I mean, that was some of the most exciting, aggressive football that we've played. We were pressing beautifully. And the thing is too, like, you're always going to be taking risks when you play that style of play. Like, some of Chelsea's best opportunities came in the first half in transition, because we left ourselves open to that by playing that high press. But I would much rather watch that brand of football and take the risks and rely on our defenders to make the plays at the other end, than sit back and have 10 men behind the ball and absorb pressure and get carpet bombed for 90 minutes and try and sneak out a 1-0 win. So
agreed.
Yeah, I mean, it was just, to me, it was like there's just such a gulf, an absolute gulf in quality between these two sides. It's hard to be like truly angry about this result in a vacuum. I think if you are going to be angry, you'd be angry about the fact that there is that giant gulf in quality, because that falls at the feet of the management and the ownership. And the business that we did in the summer arguably wasn't geared towards improving our chances of finishing high in the Premier League this season. These were young players, 18 to 22-year-olds that we brought in. They're being relied upon heavily already, and they're showing that they're not quite ready to be in a top 6 side, which you could argue we're not right now. So it's a little bit depressing. I thought Dele Alli was shocking. I thought Sergio Reguilon was shocking. I think we can pretty much we don't have to worry about Real Madrid activating that buyback clause on Reguilon anymore. I mean, it's just he really is. He really is.
It might be a plus if they do, Cody. If they do, we're getting, what are we getting? 30 mil? Is it? I
think it's higher than that. I think it was actually 40 million. So
I wouldn't mind 40 million at the moment. Yeah.
I mean, I don't know what's happened to his overall game.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's the type of managers that we've brought in who are a little bit more pragmatic in their approach that have kind of robbed him of that ability going forward. And now, when he does get licensed to go forward, it's like he forgets how to do it. Him and Gareth Bale had like a fantastic partnership and understanding at times last year. Now, like as Bale went, it was only really against the lesser sides that they kind of showed that, because a lot of times Bale wasn't starting against the better sides, and when he was playing against the better sides, he was anonymous, as was Reguilon. So it's hard to know what we have at that point. But basically, since Jose gave Sergio that suckling pig at Christmas, it's all been downhill.
Oh yeah, he did, didn't he? Well, for keeping Mahrez out the game, it suddenly went downhill from there, didn't it? Yeah. No, I know. I hear what.
When was the last time Reguilon put in like a decent cross? You know what I mean?
Do you know what the turning point I think for Reguilon was? The West Ham game at when we were 3-0 up. Yeah, when we were 3-0 up in the first 10 minutes.
Nah, he was still good after that.
Well, that was actually a turning point for Spurs, but I actually noticed in that first third of the season, he was electric, and he was actually getting forward, he was dribbling past players. Then when he came back from injury, and then Mourinho was like holding him back, trying to keep him like, more of a deeper, play a lot deeper. I don't think he's got that same mojo back, as Cody was saying there, and I don't know what it's going to take to bring that back. But he just doesn't. He looks almost like a little bit average, doesn't he? Especially defending, which is a shame because we know how good he can be.
Look, I'm going to stand up for him a little bit here. I'm not saying he's as good as we thought or hoped he was going to be, but I don't think he's been that.
No, he hasn't. No, he hasn't. Oh, defensively.
It's like in the past couple of games, like he hasn't been terrible, has he? I wouldn't say he's been our weak link or anything like that.
No, I thought he had a good game against Palace, actually.
Yeah. And even today, was he bad defensively? I don't remember him making any shockers or anything.
I'm not sure. He doesn't really.
And he has the pace to make an option on the left, which is more than Emerson was doing.
Yeah, but
I know Emerson's new, but like you know.
I think Nuno chose to push Reguilon a little bit further forward and keep Emerson a little bit further back. I think that was the decision, you know.
Fair enough.
But yeah, I mean, what was it that you noticed in Reguilon's game, Cody, today?
Just so many misplaced passes, so many times possession lost, and. Just not. Thing is, I understand what you're saying about Reguilon. He hasn't been necessarily like absolutely shocking type of promise that he showed in those first months at the club. You know, we were all saying that Reguilon was amongst the best left backs in the Premier League at that time, and I don't think you can make that argument anymore.
Yeah,
I think
agreed. Yeah,
both him and Emerson, I think, could really benefit from employing a back three. You know, to have three center backs behind so that they maybe can play in a more advanced position. I don't really know what we've got in terms of Emerson Royal, and it's been a very difficult start for him considering, you know, last weekend going up against Zaha, who's one of the trickiest, most physical wingers in the Premier League, and now, you know, obviously Chelsea being probably title favorites at this point. There's so many questions to be asked. Like, I just don't know. I don't know what we should be expecting as Tottenham fans going forward. I think anyone who still thinks that top four is a possibility is definitely drinking the Kool-Aid and drinking it hard.
Look, I honestly think, and I'm probably drinking the Kool-Aid.
Yeah,
I probably am, because it's not so much top four, but I think if we employ this team, get them fit, like, you know, actual fitness, so that Ndombele and Lo Celso can play 70, 80 minutes, do you know what I mean, instead of 50, 60 minutes, I actually think that we will do well against most teams. This is the best team in the league we've just played. And they had to have a deflected goal and a set piece against us. We were the better team in the first half, in my opinion. Would you agree with that?
I think they pumped us second half in the end.
Yeah, they did.
Yeah, I would agree with that, but I don't know what part of today's match would suggest that we would be able to maintain that style of play for longer than we did today.
I get that.
Nuno is supposed to be big on fitness and everything, and we're coming into like 3-4 months of him being in charge now. You would think at this point that some of these players would be able to maintain the style of play that we were employing in that first half. I don't know if it was just the home crowd that injected a little bit of energy, but we just seemed to overexpend ourselves. You know, I maybe you know, with it being the net zero carbon game, they must have been feeding them some organic sprouted mung beans at halftime. Maybe next weekend we can get some proper, you know, pizza and meat into these guys at halftime.
They've been on the pumpkin smoothies, haven't they?
Yeah. Now, do you know what? I'm going to give Nuno a pass on that one. Because,
which one?
On the fitness thing, because you've got two injured players there, Son and Dyer. They are injured. Do you know what I mean? Like they just passed tests, late fitness tests. You've got Lo Celso. Well, Sanchez played a part, but he's not.
Yeah.
You know, and Romero, who are both, trained in Croatia, flew in yesterday. And then you've got Ndombele, who will never be fit.
But you still wanted them on the pitch, though, for 90 minutes, though, Josh.
Yeah, I do, because he has the job. Do you know what I mean? He's like fat Ronaldo. He'll still score. Do you know R9 when in his later days, you still have him on the pitch.
Still good, even with a beer belly.
I think what we should probably look for in the coming weeks is, as we hopefully get health back and a return to fitness for some of these players, I don't think you'll see Ndombele and Lo Celso starting in the same 11 very often, because like you saw today, when they both went off, we lost the ability to progress the ball through midfield quite a bit, and we already struggled to do that no matter what. But, last year you saw it quite a bit at the time when Jose was starting one and then substituting for the other. It was like a like-for-like substitution. So I think that's probably the angle that you'll see going forward. But I think probably the best thing we can do as Spurs fans right now is just everybody take a step back, look at the big picture, look at the state of the squad, take a deep breath, and temper your expectations a little bit, because I really don't see how we finish higher than we did last year, the way that it's going right now. And for people who are calling for Nuno to be given the sack at this point, I really don't think that does much more than set us back further than we are already. The thing is, Nuno was brought in. Paratici spurned the hiring of Fonseca in the face of Daniel Levy. So if Daniel Levy goes out and sacks Nuno now, or even at any point this season, unless you suffer a complete capitulation of epic proportions, then I think that you're risking seeing Paratici walk. And right now, that's the last thing that I want. I'm not convinced that Paratici is the golden dawn that some people think that he is, but I still want him making football decisions over Daniel Levy. So everybody just has to kind of take a deep breath. If we go away to the Emirates next week and we pull out a result, everything will be hunky-dory again. We'll have 4 wins from 6 games in the Prem. And I still think, despite the result in France on Thursday, that we're still set up well to win that group in the Conference League. But I just worry about our lack of depth and quality, which is not a good thing to be worried about for your football team.
Yeah, especially only 5 games in or something like that. We're already looking stretched.
Do you know what? Look, I personally like to take positives, and I see the first half as a positive. Yeah. But it's we're then going to go at it again because the Argentinians are going to go on international duty again, and Sanchez is going to go away again, and that's only in 1 game, I think, isn't it? After us, is that right? After Arsenal, so we're going to be set back again. It's going to take a long time for Nuno to put his stamp on this squad. So I totally agree with you, Cody, that we definitely shouldn't be looking at sacking him, but I do actually think sneakily that Nuno wasn't Paratici's first choice, so I don't see him walking if there is a capitulation. I actually think if one of his first choice managers came about, if Conte, for example, was, actually interested again or something like that, I think Paratici would cut Nuno quickly. He was obviously his last choice, wasn't he? Do you know what I mean? He was talking to Fonseca before him. So, I don't think that. I don't think Paratici and Nuno are very closely related in that way at all.
That's fair, but let's just forget Antonio Conte.
That's never going to happen. Let's be honest.
Yeah. He's never coming.
All right, Cody. Thanks for your comments, Cody. Mate. And it's good having you back on more regularly. Good to see the beard's looking strong.
Finally get to speak to you, man. I really want to get to that level, that beard level.
I said today if we won the game that I would shave the beard, and the beard is safe for another week.
Safe for another day. Yeah.
If we go away to the Emirates next week and we pull out a result and we get 3 points, again I will offer the beard as a sacrifice to the footballing god. Excellent job by you guys today, and absolutely, John. Always love when you're on the channel. I know that. There's a lot of comments that come through that are negative and calling you a gooner and everything. Yeah. I really don't understand it, because I always find your analysis to be quite interesting, and some of the angles that you take in the debates are always class. So,
Oh, cheers, mate. Appreciate that.
excellent job by you guys again.
It's usually me off multiple accounts. I'm the
Yeah,
one
yeah,
that's just
it's-
giving
it's-
him. I've just got so many banner accounts. I'm just sending him abuse.
He's the troll. He's the hidden troll in the comment section. Brilliant. We finally found him.
Yeah. It's me all along.
It's him. It's like the Scooby Doo. Anyway, Cody, cheers, mate. See you next week for the Arsenal game then.
Good to meet you, Cody.
See you later.
take care.
Glory, glory. Tottenham Hotspur. Oh, puts me in a good mood anyway, Cody, I have to say.
Yeah.
He does, he
Definitely.
does. Right, are we ready for our next guest?
Yes.
We are? We are. We are, okay.
Gareth.
Gareth. How are we doing, Gareth? I think it's the first time we've spoken to you. How you doing, my friend?
You're on mute.
You're muted.
Maybe not.
There we go. Now you're
Am I?
unmuted. Hello, how we doing?
All right. Yeah, not so good. You know,
Not so good.
losing
Go on then.
again.
Get it off your chest for us.
3-0. Yeah, I've been like really nervous about this call because first time, but yeah,
You're doing well
losing
already.
3-0 to Chelsea is obviously not that great. I was quite impressed in the first half. Because I did not expect us to sort of dominate some of the stats in the earlier part of the game, because we usually turn up in the second half as of recent. But yeah, second half, obviously we conceded 3, and yeah, they were pretty easy goals to prevent.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's kind of disappointing. Of course, the second goal, I did not expect that to go in. I thought Lloris could have done slightly better. He could have at least dived for the ball.
That's what I was saying.
Really? Do you think? I don't think so.
No, but I don't think so anymore either. I think that's
No,
a bit.
I think
harsh,
when you get a deflection, your body weight's going one way, and then
yeah, he
you
was
quickly-
leaning towards the other way.
and then you get a
Gareth.
deflection, it goes the other way, and you see it come off the post, and you're just completely caught in like a deer in the headlights in that moment. For me, that's not for me, that's not really dire at all. Lloris's problem on that one.
No, but someone should have closed him down.
No,
Yeah.
the issue was before that with the closing the ball down, I think. But anyway,
Yeah, in
Gareth,
the midfield,
what-
I think someone could have put a body in front of Conte.
yeah.
Try to prevent the shot off.
What part
but
of
yeah.
Canada are you from, Gareth? You from BC?
I'm from Toronto.
Ah, okay, cool. I've got 2 sisters that live there. You just sound like them a little bit. But yeah,
Oh yeah.
Where's your favourite place to travel? Let's chat about Toronto.
I'd rather talk about Toronto than Spurs at the moment. No. So how did you get into supporting Spurs living out there in Toronto?
So I think it was 5-6 years back. I didn't live here. I lived in Hong Kong.
Ah, cool.
And yeah, they have in Tesco's or whatever over there in the UK, they have like these football cards,
Yeah.
match attacks and stuff. Yeah, that got me into football. So
That got you into Spurs.
well, not Spurs directly, but I saw wow, this guy looks kind of nice, and then yeah, I thought that Spurs were the team. I thought
Yeah,
they-
Poor you. He
Well,
picked-
5-6 years ago, that would have been
He pulled out the card, pulled Harry Kane out. I'm supporting this team.
That would have been peak
Yeah.
Poch. If I was watching Spurs
Yeah.
5-6 years
Yeah,
ago, I would have wanted to
I feel
support Spurs
really
as well.
bad. I feel really embarrassed for all those new fans
Yeah.
that started supporting during the Poch era, and now they're having this real sobering experience.
They
right
didn't
now.
go through the 90s like us, did they?
No, they didn't.
Yeah, didn't
Anyway,
really
we
turn
welcome
out-
you. We welcome you anyway, Gareth.
Yeah.
Welcome to the
It'll
the
be
misery.
worth it, Gareth. Gareth, when we eventually lift those trophies, it'll be worth it, and you wouldn't be a
The triumph will feel greater, won't
Yeah,
it?
definitely.
Yeah.
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 But what else do you want to say about the game then, Gareth?
Yeah, I just think the midfield was lacking a bit at times. Someone like Lusa Dembele could have really helped in the midfield today. Maybe pick up the ball, carry it forward, pick a pass, and then maybe something would happen. But today, especially after Nuno took off, especially Lo Celso and Dembele, it really did hurt the game a bit.
Agreed.
Last season as well. Every time Mourinho was when Mourinho was in charge, he would always make sure either one of Ndombele or Lo Celso were on the pitch.
Yeah.
He would take one off and bring on the other. This season, it's either none or both, and yeah, I just don't think it really works out. Dele Alli as well. Sometimes his movement can be a bit lazy. I've seen quite a bit. Yeah, so that might hurt our
I think those
performances
are
have
great
been as
points.
well.
I think those are really, really great points, Gareth. And probably because they're exactly what I was saying.
Yeah, that's probably the reason why. Absolutely
So I
bang on
totally
there.
agree
Yeah.
with everything you're saying, Gareth.
Yeah. just nod, just nod. It's fine. Yeah.
Great call, Gareth.
Anyway, great call, Gareth. Well done for coming on, first time caller. So we love that. We love a bit of that.
Please
and,
call back.
Call
I love
back. Call back
Canadians.
again and agree with Josh, and I'm sure you'll be in his good books forever.
I'm a Canadian citizen, by the way, so I'm one of you.
Do you have a Canadian passport?
Well, I'm. Yeah, I've got. You know, I can live there.
You can.
Yeah. I'm not an actual citizen. I've got. You know the.
It's just it's a.
What do they call it? When you're
a dodgy one, a green pass. He's got a dodgy green pass, everyone.
Yeah, basically. Yeah.
All right, Gareth. Cheers to your call, mate, and hopefully we speak to you soon. Yeah.
See you later, Gareth.
All right. Bye then. Bye then. Okay.
See you later. I heard him. He said.
He did. He said goodbye.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
Brandon.
Should we get Brandon on? Let's put Brandon Truller. I think that's.
You're not trolling us, are you?
Truller. I think it needs a little. Does it need a little umlaut over the O? I think.
Never dare. Sorry?
I think that needs a little umlaut over the O. Truller.
Actually, yeah, it used to have it. Yeah, Charlie.
There we go.
Nice.
Look at that knowledge.
It came to America. They decided to get rid of it. But yeah. Oh my God. How are you feeling, fellas?
Oh dear, oh dear. Oh, I don't know what to say. I actually went for the first time. I went a bit speechless second half. Not in a good way.
Yeah.
I couldn't talk. It was just I felt so winded. I felt so sucker punched that I just couldn't. I didn't have any words. So
Yeah.
maybe
Still
you can.
hurting.
I'm still hurt. I'm hurting from it, Brandon. I'm hurting.
I wanted to leave John to do this on his own. I tried to leave him actually, but
Yeah, I couldn't cope.
yeah.
So what do you think, Brandon? Come on, where did it go wrong? Why the hell did we not show up second half?
You know what really hurt me? Our defending on corners was shambolic. And I understand Nuno's been up against it with the injuries and South America fiasco, but at the end of the day, I mean, that's to come down to the manager. I mean, look at Chelsea with Lampard. They were borderline historically bad when defending set pieces. I mean, they got a proper manager, and overnight they turned into 300th Battle of Thermopylae. I mean, they went from a bunch of loaves of soggy wheat toast to just like impenetrable warriors, and that's just something that the manager's got to instill in the players. And see, missing your man corner and corner again is just, it's never ever going to produce a vote of confidence in the manager.
Do you think that was the main issue, though? I mean, obviously it was silly to concede from a corner, but do you think that was the main issue today? Because I see it as though second half we just didn't come out, and we just didn't show the same levels of effort and aggression and closing the ball down second half. And I think it just allowed Chelsea onto us, and they've got so much quality, they're going to hurt you at some point. Is that how you saw it, or do you just see it as just the individual kind of moments there, like these specific moments?
Oh no, you're definitely spot on with that. I was just, honestly, I expected that to happen throughout the game. I was just going into it hoping that it didn't implode like it did. But it's the individual thing. When you got Eric Dyer back, that's always, and I don't know, it wasn't necessarily his fault, but when you got that sort of team, it's never gonna not show its ugly head. It seems like even in the games we've won this year, we've had at least one or two just silly individual errors that really should have been conceded. And I think the optimism is slowly out the window. I mean, something's not right with Kane. I mean, the amount of attacks that came, the amount of attacks that came to a screeching halt because of a misplayed ball or just really stupid ideas coming from his part. I lost count. You know, I was just in awe watching the second half. He's never been known for his speed. He looks beyond slow. I mean, Olivier Giroud runs faster when he's walking.
I know, exactly. But you're not allowed to say it, Brandon. If you say it, then you're upsetting the fangirls.
You're not allowed to say it. Look, I think he played some good passes today.
Do you think he played all right today?
I thought
first half he looked all right.
He had that good shot. I know it's not enough for Harry Kane because he's one of the best strikers in the world.
I thought first half he was all right.
But also, I want to come back to what Brandon first said, which I actually think he was right. I think that, I know you point to that 5-minute spell at the front, the start of the half, but even you during that spell said, yeah, but they haven't looked like they're going to open us up. They've just had a couple of corners, yeah?
Yeah.
our main thing was a deflected goal and
Yeah.
not being able to defend corners properly.
Yeah.
Like the third goal, you just write that off. We don't care at that point. Well, it's not that we don't care, but it's like we have no fight in us at that
Yeah,
point.
but they were pumping us second half though. You have to admit.
Yeah, once they went 2-0 up. Once they went 2-0 up, they were pumping us. Not before. They weren't. Yes, they were the better team second half.
Our
but
heads dropped. The thing that disappointed me is as soon as that first goal went in, the heads dropped. And I think we still could have got something out of that game if we went, do you know what, don't worry about that. Let's still play with a lot of aggression.
Agreed.
And we didn't see that reaction. We didn't see a reaction. I think that's what was disappointing.
Which we usually would see under Poch.
Well,
if we
you
go
would
goal
see that.
down
Yeah,
under...
of course. You would see a little reaction. How did you see it, Brandon?
I actually think that third goal is a little more significant because it's kind of telling of the wider issues. So I know he's young, but it's time to start giving Scarlett a chance to run out against the big boys toward the end of matches. I mean, no disrespect to Sanchez, but I strongly dislike the mentality behind subbing on a center back when you're 2-0 down to the champions of Europe. I mean, it's just waving the white flag. Why? If you're building a winning culture, you have to keep troops pushing forward. Why not play with 4 attackers for a little bit? He'll drop back into midfield a bit. I mean, let him operate in the middle. He seemed to be impressive there. Let him weave around some of those spaces. There's something's not right about the mentality behind his second half substitutions. Besides Hill, and I know if you look at our bench, it's not exactly something to be impressed by. But even guys like Dylan Markaday, for God's sakes, he was on the bench, I believe, against Palace. Why not give young players a little bit of a run out? If you know we're down 2-0, you have nothing to lose. Nothing to lose.
Yeah. And do you know what? Sorry, we did start losing you a little bit there, Brandon.
I could hear it though.
Yeah, we got the gist of what you were saying. But John, that is exactly how this generation of players became something. Harry Kane coming on at the end of games when he had that Europa League run, coming on for Soldado and Adebayor. That we need that sometimes. Do you know what I mean? Because you give them that chance to have that moment, that Aston Villa moment where Harry Kane scored that free kick. He didn't start that game.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like
it's a little bit worrying that in the last 2 games we've been like 2-0 down and there's been no real reaction from Nuno to create a positive change.
Agreed. Yeah.
If anything, he's reverted to a more defensive change. If any, you know what I mean, like bringing Skip on. Or like not bringing Hill on or Ndombele on it, even in the 86th minute, you could have, when, a time like that, you could have brought something on. So it is a little bit concerning for me that Nuno's not really reacting with fight fire with fire. It's almost like damage limitation. Let's just keep it more safe, which I don't think we don't want to see that, do we?
I'd rather lose 4-0 and have
a go.
An extra 4 shots on target, like we've almost scored a couple, than lose 3-0 and do you know what I mean? And have just camped out in our own half and let them.
Yeah, that is a little bit. The in-game management for Nuno is a little bit of a question mark on that. But anyway, Brandon, thanks for coming on, my friend. First time I think I've spoken to you on the post-match. So
great call, Brandon.
Great call. So
real
cheers
pleasure.
for that, Brandon.
Thanks a lot.
Cheers, mate.
Bro.
Yeah, we could just about hear Brandon towards the end. It was a little bit like. Have you seen Wayne's World when he's ordering these takeaway?
Oh, you're a bit
I'll
older
have
than me, John.
Chicken. Jam it with shake.
Sorry,
I was having to work it out.
I was born in the 90s.
All right, yeah, sorry, mate. You're 90s. You're probably born in the 90s. But I understand what he's saying. There were errors there, definitely. But I just do think, why was the desire not there second half, Josh?
Well,
why? I just don't get it.
No, but you're asking me the question that you know how I'm going to answer it, which is he
took off
both of our passes. Both of them.
I'm going to clip that up. That's going to be. I'm going to have a soundboard where I just press buttons and it's going to be Josh's Lascelles.
Yeah. No, but it's true. It's so simple. I just don't understand how people can't see it. Like, that is the main problem. That's when the game changed, when you take both of them off. It's fine playing one of them, starting with one of them, and changing them like Mourinho did. That's when we were on our good run under Mourinho. He was doing that chopping and changing. I don't mind. You don't have to start them both, but you need one of them on the field at all times. At
all times.
All times.
Even if they're dead on their feet.
Yes. Even if they've got no feet.
Phil. Let's bring Phil on.
Yes, Phil.
How you doing, mate? Do you want to fill in the gaps here? What do you reckon?
Do you know what? After nearly 50 years, I'm speechless. I don't even know what to say anymore.
I know.
It's today was almost as Spursy as it comes, and I hate that phrase. But
Yeah.
it was like, you went in at half time and you're like, I was concerned that we hadn't scored, but it was good pressure. And I'm still waiting for them to come out from the second half. I'm like,
they didn't turn up. They just didn't come out second half.
Yeah.
Irrespective of Lo Celso and Ndombele, they just didn't come out.
Yeah. And even though the two of them were both on, the front 2, 3, whoever it was, didn't look like anything was ever going to happen. And
are you talking first half, Phil, or are you talking second half?
No, second half.
He's talking second.
Literally when they came out, and obviously, as soon as he made the substitution and brought Skip on, you're like, right, this is just a damage limitation. But it was just too late. But I do think he's. I reckon he's been pressured into that lineup because that was pretty attacking. But
I hope you're wrong. I really hope you're wrong because that means he's going to go, look what happens when I play attacking football, and then he won't play it anymore. And it's like, we are Spurs. We want to play attacking football. Do you know what I mean? Sorry, Phil, I didn't mean to interrupt. Go on.
No, it's fine. Obviously, what you were saying about Tanguy early on, there was a bit where he went kind of down the left wing, and his touch was just phenomenal, but he did drop off, and I don't know whether he dropped off or whether they got a little bit tighter to him, but we just seem to have space all over the place first half, and then second half it's like they just dominated. But the bit I didn't get, and I don't know if you picked it up, did you watch it? Obviously you watch on Sky, but there was a bit where Chelsea had a corner and they went in close to Lukaku and he was being marked by Tanguy, and you're like,
yes,
who the hell said to him, do you know what? I've got a really good idea. We've got £100 million striker. Yeah. You go and mark him. We'll leave Romero marking someone else. Or it was just, I just didn't get it. And obviously, he didn't get the goal. But, in the end, I still think we were lucky to get away with 3 without,
Yeah. Yeah, no, I totally agree. And I did actually pick up on that, I'll say. I did pick up on that. If you go back and watch the watch along, I did say, why is Tanguy marking Lukaku? Yeah. But yeah, no, I totally agree. I just don't think.
And you look at the week ahead now, and it's like, am I confident against Wolves? No, because it's probably not really a priority, but for Wolves it will be. And then next weekend, there's a strong possibility this time next week we're level on points with bloody Arsenal. You're like, what?
And on less goal difference probably as well. Maybe they need 2 goals, I think, to get above us.
I think they're minus. I did have a look at it now just to say, could they go ahead of us next week? But they're -7. But if they win 2-0 next week, that's
what
it.
A turnaround, eh? What a turnaround! It's embarrassing, isn't it? I've been taking the piss out of them. It's always the way, isn't it?
Yeah.
Oh dear. Yeah.
Oh, thanks, Phil. Jesus.
What a great first call.
Yeah. Oh, is it your first call? No, it's a great call.
No, I was on with Dave earlier, but it's just I don't know, and it's like they're not going to bin off Nuno yet. He clearly wasn't first choice, but you just question the whole philosophy of what is going on at the club, don't you?
Yeah,
it's been a slow deterioration, I think, and I think personally the real turning point was losing Dembele for me. Obviously, losing Walker had an impact, but I think losing Dembele, I think we could have got another season out of Dembele, even though he was a bit cropped.
Or at least made him finish to the end of that season. Imagine
it was
Dembele
too premature.
in the Champions League
selling
final.
Dembele was too premature for me.
Dembele should have played that Champions League final. He could have played the game of his life.
Every single player said he was the best player at the club.
Exactly.
And you're selling him.
In January.
I don't care if he's 32, whatever he was. He was still quality enough to keep going.
Pierre now. Imagine it next to Højbjerg there, and then you're like, right, go on, Tanguy, go and do whatever you want to do. It's like, he'll be all right. It's just, but I don't know. Maybe this guy from France, was his name Papa? I call him Papa Smurf, but maybe he'll be the answer. But it's like we can't wait 12 months for him. We need him now.
Shango.
Look, I've got to be honest though. This last week and this week for me, like I was a big Enoch outer and stuff like that over the summer and stuff, and I've always rested problems at Daniel Levy's, door. Basically, I think it's his fault. But this summer, for me, I think they did things right. They went for younger players. So these immediate problems right now, in my opinion, I'm sorry, but they're Nuno selections. It's actually for me, the problems have been from Nuno in these last 2 games. I wouldn't blame it
What,
on
the in-game
Levy.
management, you mean?
Yeah, the in-game management, the selection last week.
Oh, selection was, too negative.
What's going on? I can't blame that on Paratici or Levy right there, because he's got better tools. If we keep losing him and he's selecting, the kind of teams that we'd expect or employing the right tactics, we've got more attacking players than we do defensive. And anyway, I don't want to get into that.
But when Paratici got announced, they all said, part of his role is he was not just like the director of football, he was almost like the overall manager, so he wouldn't, whereas Nuno's the coach, so he would be responsible after the game to be speaking to the press and talking. So you would think he's probably got a little bit of say in what's going on, but I don't know, is that happening? None of us are ever going to know, are we? But
no, we're not. No.
I just genuinely look at it, like you say, last week, as soon as that team got announced, you were just like, well, that's that then, isn't it?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I don't think we had it. Well, we had 1 shot on target, I think, last game.
What about this game?
We didn't have much today either, did we?
How many shots on target did we have?
I think we had
probably
2
one or two?
maybe 1 or 2, yeah.
I mean, you got... I mean, Reguilon should have just gone for it himself.
Yeah.
And obviously the one with Son when he came through, there was an easy, ball across to Kane. But I don't know. And it's difficult to get the measure of Kane at the moment for me, because it's like he doesn't feel that his heart's in it. But also, if he's not getting any chances, what's the guy's...
you can't really argue with that. I know. I actually thought in the first half, I thought he was working really hard, Harry Kane, more so than I've seen him the rest of the season. And I thought he was actually he was influential, dropping a little bit deeper, I thought, today.
Yeah, I thought he
was all right first half.
Yeah,
I thought he was all right first half.
Yeah, he was.
I thought they all were
linking up.
I thought they all were very influential in the first half. It was an excellent first half, actually, team performance. Really couldn't find many weaknesses at all. But then second half, they all looked anonymous. They all looked kind of out of joint, didn't they?
You just knew from that. I mean, it was only 3 minutes in, but you knew the second Chelsea scored, that was it. But I reckon what they should, if you go back to Man City, we looked awesome that in. Look at the
great.
Front 3.
It's cut out a little bit, Phil. I think we'll move on.
I know what he's saying, though. He said against Man City we looked excellent. I think we had the front 3 working really well. And I really like to see that. Mora, Son and Bergwijn. What they were doing is they were coming back to pick up the second ball, and then we had the 3 midfielders dropping back to make up the 7 in defence. As soon as we were springing on Man City, but we weren't really able to do that. We weren't getting close enough to each other today to make that sort of thing happen. And it just went a bit slow, went a bit laboured. There was a lack of desire second half, and ultimately, it cost us. But yeah, thanks for that, Phil. That was the first time I've spoken to you, so appreciate that.
Just before we move on, I think I'm noticing something. I think Dele is going to be that player that those managers have those players that they have to fit in somehow. They have to play that player.
Reputation.
Well, I don't know, reputation, whatever, or it's his favourite, it's a teacher's pet, whatever it is. I think Dele is that player. Look at the past 2 lineups. He's had to fit Dele in there somehow. Whether you're playing Skip and Højbjerg or you're playing Lo Celso and Ndombele, he's playing Dele as well. Do you know what I mean? Like, whereas I think... I'm not saying Dele's been awful.
I know you were digging him out quite a bit, weren't you?
I said that I think he's the one I would sub. That's what I'm saying. Yeah. But he doesn't really offer much. You just don't like
him, do you, Josh?
Dele is actually... He probably is one of my favourite Spurs players. He was my favourite.
Phil's come back. Where's Phil? Phil's back.
I never actually left, but,
You've been eavesdropping the whole time.
I've been watching. But I thought when the team got announced, I thought he would be in next to Højbjerg. So you'd almost have your 4 and then him and Højbjerg. So you had the 4-2.
Who,
and
Dele?
then the other 4. I thought that's where he was almost picked. But
he's playing like a central defensive midfielder, isn't he?
Yeah, I just don't know what I can't. It's a weird one with Dele. It's almost like they're trying to fit a square peg into a round hole with Dele a little bit.
Man. Huh? Let him go be a superstar at Bournemouth or Villa or something like that. Do you know what I mean? That's what I think. And I, really identified with Dele when he came through Poch. He was my favourite player that season. My favourite player.
Yeah.
So I know what you're saying,
but here's the thing.
It's time to move on.
He would look spectacular in a team that presses high and presses aggressively, and they're camped out in the opposition's half because he's the tricks and flicks, the guy that picks the lock. But as soon as you start to drop deep and he's required to do a lot more of the the legwork in midfield, I think he starts to look a little bit exposed, and it's almost like, who is this player? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, but like the thing is, he's actually looked good at that part this season, or decent. Look at the tackles he's making and all that, but he's totally lost the other side. I know he did one good flick today, but
I thought it was good. I thought he was.
When has he had a good chance in the box?
Half.
What Dele is flicks in the box, doing crazy chances on goal,
and
like
nutmegs.
Do you know what I mean? Like overhead kicks, nutmegs, like headers. Eriksen crossing it into him, like. And movement in the box, running beyond Kane. Where is that? There's none of that.
We don't see that anymore because he's playing too deep.
Yeah. So what's the point?
I don't know. I think the jury's out a little bit with Dele, and it's almost as if I don't know what his preferred role is. I don't know where we can best utilise him.
And I love Dele. I really do. But it's just like, just put him on the bench. I'd love him coming on. I'd love him coming on in the 70th minute.
Yeah.
Like, do you really think Nuno should be selecting Dele week in, week out? Does he deserve his space?
Let's ask Phil.
What do you think, Phil?
No, unfortunately now no, because it's like, you say, what's his position? Is he dropping? Is he off the front? Is he midfield? I genuinely now don't know who he offers. And if you put him up for sale, who would be queuing at the door now?
So true.
I know, yeah. But it's amazing because he would have got 80 million from him in
oh my God, Real Madrid wanted him apparently, or Barcelona.
Oh my days, yeah. It's a weird one, isn't it? But for me, I mean, it's harsh for me to say this, but Dele's almost a luxury player. And what I mean by that is, when we had that team in 2015, 2016, it was full of athletes, strong, dominating the ball, camped out in the opposition's half. He was given the license to play almost the free-spirited role. He ended up playing striker, like second striker, not because we asked him to, just because he had such a free role in that team that he just gravitated towards that role, getting loads of goals that season. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But we don't have that luxury anymore to be able to play like that. So now it's like his whole game has got the spotlight on him, and he can't be that player anymore, the luxury player. And I think now people are going, this isn't the same player we saw before. But I think because the way we were playing was totally different back then, So it's almost like he's getting scrutinised a lot more. And I don't think you're going to see that kind of player anymore.
I also think, back to what Phil was saying about Dembele just made a load of players look good.
Yeah,
like
he did.
You did not need Dele didn't need to do any midfield work when you've got this one midfielder that's doing everything. Yeah. Like, he could dribble past 4 players, play the ball in. No one's going to get the ball off him. Dele can just make a run. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? So he made even Eriksen never look the same.
He didn't look the same. Yes, you're right. Yeah,
he never looked the same after Dembele went, because Eriksen was just the final ball guy, or good shots on target, all that sort of stuff.
Maybe bring him back.
Dembele.
How old is he now? 35?
Still playing in China? I'd have him any day of the week.
I know.
Just to teach Ndombele, I'd have him.
Yeah, maybe, bring him back as a coach. All right, Phil, you've been on for about 2 hours now.
I'm sick of the sight of you, Phil.
Cheers, Phil. Let's have you on again soon, mate.
Good call.
Guys.
Cheers, mate. Cheers. I like the way he left and came back. Oh,
Lewis.
Fantastic. Oh, Lewis. I don't think I've spoken to Lewis. Let's bring Lewis on. Lewis, how you doing, mate? Can you unmute yourself?
No, I don't think he's muted. I think it's just a bit...
Are you just very quiet?
Have you got any volume control for your mic?
Can you talk into the mic so we can hear?
Lewis, maybe pull the mic up to your mouth there. I think he's using his headphone mic.
Oh, do you know what? I think you're coming through from your headphone mic
instead of the
handheld mic.
I can't hear you.
Maybe just pull the headphone mic a little bit closer to your mouth, and then let's see if that works. See the mic here on the headphones? Yeah, that. You see the little mic that comes down? Oh, you can't hear me now because he's taking the headphones off. He's thinking about it. Anyway. We'll leave Lewis to work that one out. If you're watching, Lewis, it might be coming through from the little mic on your headphone instead of the handheld. So maybe just have a little. We'll try and get you back on, ASAP.
Sorry, Lewis.
Sorry about that, Lewis. But yeah. Who should we bring on now? Should we bring on Rishab?
You said it right, Rishab.
Rishabh.
Okay. That was in the middle.
That was in the middle, actually. Between them. Yeah. Rishabh, you got to say it quickly. How you doing, Rishabh? First time? Is it a first time caller?
I've been on the channel a few times, but first time with you, John. And
Okay,
George.
well, welcome,
Okay.
welcome.
Good to meet you.
Welcome
Rishabh.
to the show. Good to meet you. Okay, do you want to break down that game for us? Is there anything that we haven't said so far?
No, you covered all of it. It was
All right, see you
the
later,
first,
Rishabh. Bring Lewis back on. Go on.
Joking.
yeah. The first half was promising. It was good to see the dream formation: Lo Celso, Højbjerg, and Tanguy in the middle. Oh man,
He loves it. He loves it.
Yes.
I've
Agreed.
been waiting for them to play for such a long time together. I mean, but it looked good. At least we had something different in mind, and I think we surprised Chelsea. But in the second half, man, those guys made a simple substitution with Kante coming in, and it changed everything. Tactically and mentally, they just proved to be a better team. And then the second half was just the one that you would like to forget.
Okay. Can you tell me what the super
Yeah,
chats were?
agreed. I think that you're just touching on exactly what I think the majority of us feel at the moment, which is that how did that second half come about after that first half? Do you think, Rishabh, that the changes had anything to do with it? Hint, hint, they did.
The,
I love it, Josh. I love it.
Yeah, the changes. I mean, because this could be our best 11, the team that was playing in the first half. So I'm not sure we had a player on the bench that could have made a difference coming in.
I
Because-
want to
Yeah.
pull you up on that.
No, I'm going to
quickly.
pull him up on that. 'Cause
No,
I think Mora would have played well today.
That's exactly what I was going to say. Wouldn't you have more in for Delhi? That's what I was going to say. So, because he just said he thinks that's our best 11 in the first half.
No, I
you
actually
think
think
that's our
I think
best
Lucas
11?
needs to play in a game like that, especially when you
So
need
who
to
would
get.
you have him in for? That's what I'm saying.
I don't know. There's a lot of different permutations you could do to get more in.
Just say Delhi. I know
You just
that you're
wanted me
gonna
to say it, don't
No,
you?
but you
Yeah.
know that you want to say Delhi. You just don't want to say Delhi because I've been talking about Delhi. That's what it is.
Because you don't like him.
It's not that I don't like Delhi. It's just
Yeah.
I know he is probably the weakest player in that 11. Probably, well, in the attacking half.
Because you want to see Lo Celso start. That's why, isn't it?
Lo Celso. All right, okay. Maybe you could play Delhi
'Cause you could
because
play
he's
more
got
instead of
legs,
Lo Celso,
and then you
you
could
could
take
stop.
Lo Celso. Yeah.
You could do that
take
as well, yeah.
But then you have to sub Lo Celso for Ndombele after. Ndombele for Lo Celso after. Yeah, that's fine as well.
Yeah, but I do think Mora could have made a bit of a difference today because I think he could have relieved the pressure of the defence and start to get us on the front foot a little bit more. Beat a couple men, and he's the water carrier
good
as
on
well
the
in the
break as
team.
well, isn't
Good
he?
on the
Yeah.
break, and I think we lost a little bit of cohesion, especially trying to soak up the pressure and spring on Chelsea. There was none of that second half. I think he would have been great, but obviously he was injured. But Rishabh, what else do you think? Watching that game, could we have done?
Mhm.
Could we have made any changes? What if you were Nuno at half time? Could you have said anything to them, or would you have said keep it the way it is? And if you were Nuno during the second half, what could he have done in terms of substitutions?
Yeah, in terms of substitutions, first of all, I would have thought pragmatically because the way we were pressing them in the first half, I'm sure that in the second half they would have come up with a difference. They would have made their midfield a lot stronger, and then since they brought in Kante, I would have been expecting that. So for the second half, I would have thought a little bit pragmatically, and maybe if we could have pressed them from the beginning, I could have made those substitutions earlier with Brian Hill and the other guy Skip coming in, and then done the pressing again because there was no other way to win them. Because if you give them the ball, I mean, it's kind of a criminal offense if you just give them the ball because if they
Yeah.
keep the ball, there's no way you can win against them.
Agreed. Yeah, no, I think so. I think that he went the right way about it. The only way to deal with them is to try and press them off the park, which we did for 45 minutes. But yeah, you're right. As soon as we started giving them the ball, that's it, isn't it? Really.
Yeah.
But I were you saying that you think those substitutions could have come earlier? Is that what you just said, Rishabh?
Yeah, because if we would have, there were two ways we could have gone. I mean, if we would have targeted winning the game, one way would have been to press counter attacking, but for that we should have played more defensively. That was one way. The second way was just press them, and the only way to do it was to make the substitutions early because Lo Celso and Tanguy, they couldn't have played all 90 minutes.
That's what I think. I know that. Cover his ears.
But don't you think that we were worse when they went off The answer is yes, Rashab.
Oh yeah. I agree with you. I mean, once. Yes.
Yeah, there we go. Yeah, he said it.
He said he wanted more of a pragmatic
I get that as well.
Yeah,
I think
yeah.
Mourinho would have done this game. Like,
we might have actually. This could have been a Mourinho performance at home where we dug something out,
like those City games and stuff
yeah,
like that. Do you
exactly,
know what I mean? Like
yeah,
this
yeah,
definitely
It
could have been one of those
like
games.
that, yeah.
But
But
I don't. Kane and Son just aren't in that sort of form, though, are they?
No, they're not sharp at all, are they?
They're not sharp the way that they have been. But yeah.
Rashad, we've got to move on, but thank you for that, my friend. Thanks for first time speaking to you. Where are you calling from, quickly? Where are you calling from?
I'm calling from Seattle, Washington.
Seattle,
Nice.
Washington.
Cool.
Brilliant. Wow.
Yeah.
All over the world. I love it. International. This is great. All right.
Call in again, Rashab.
Rashad.
Yeah, definitely. Thanks. Cheers. Come on,
Cheers,
you
mate.
Spurs.
Come on, you Spurs.
Come on, you Spurs.
All right, before we go into the next call, let me just read out some super chats because we've let them slip through the net here.
Lacking. John out.
John out is the first. No, it's not. That's what I say. Faz Radfar, thanks for the super chat. He says, reality check, Chelsea was lost cause. Test next week. He's saying basically it was always going to be a hard game today. Chances are we're probably going to lose this game. Chelsea a quality side. Lost cause as in, chasing shadows probably, predicting,
But he said Arsenal was our test
next week is when we see the proper litmus test. I agree with that. I think that, we should be beating Arsenal next week, but Chelsea is always going to be a tough game today.
Well, then how is Arsenal a test then? Do you know what I'm saying? Chelsea is the test then.
I think what he's trying to say is Chelsea are going to play most teams off the park.
Right. Okay. Yeah.
And he's saying like to really know your level is like to play a team like Arsenal. We should be getting through that game. I think that's what he's saying there.
Yeah.
The next super chat
quite convincingly.
Yeah, that's what he means. We should. Then we'll know our level basically.
Yeah.
Next super chat from Brandon again. Thank you, my friend. Only positive I see from today is that Ndombele looked decent in the first half. When he's not heaving out his lungs like a cigarette-addicted toddler, he can add that unicorn dimension.
How many cigarette addicted toddlers do you know, Brandon? I don't know what you're doing over there in Canada.
Josh takes it personally when any word against Ndombele. No, I think on the ball, look, we know how good Ndombele is on the ball. The question marks is, especially when it gets to like the 50th, 60th minute, I do see him running out of steam, and you can see him. He doesn't even jog; he just walks around the pitch. Yeah,
but he will get fit. He will get fit. Look, this is his second game.
Yeah, he did last season. He was playing 90 minutes last season.
He got fit by the end.
And last super chat here from Mike Ox Mel's Grim. Oh, Mike, nice bait. Mike. I like that. the bait comes in. Dyer and Romero had a good game in my opinion. I don't want to get baited again. He said something else here. I'm not even sure what it means. I'm just going to leave it. Yeah. Great bait there. Great bait.
Okay.
Straight from AFTV, that one as well.
Yeah, we won't go for that.
I love it. Let's bring the Godfather on. Let's bring the Irish Hotspur on. Come on, let's finish this up. Come on. This is what we want to see.
Give us some positivity, bro. Come on, man.
No, I don't want. I want realness with Dave. I want the reality check. Give us the reality check. Come on.
No, first of all, I have to say, look, today's result, it cut deep. It left me dejected, disillusioned a bit, to be honest with you. And I was a bit, like John, I was a bit speechless, to be honest with you, just to see the way where we collapsed. But I have to say, you two guys, you're a great credit to the WeAreTottenhamTV boys, and you're certainly providing great therapy and putting smiles on people's faces.
Thank you.
Such a tough result.
Cheers, man. Yeah, you got to see like the
from a legend like him.
I know, from the Godfather.
Those,
it's nice to hear, isn't
from
it?
The original
nice
legends.
I think we try and see the lighter side of it, don't we?
Yeah.
We try and you got to find the humour even in the darkness sometimes. But come on, give us the reality check, my man. Like, what can we say about that game that we haven't said already? Do you think?
Do you know what? Look, there's a lot of positives to take from the first half.
Yeah.
Look, the team selection was right. Look, I was happy with the team selection, and we were very good first half. And it was kind of, look, I'll admit, I sold my soul to the devil, under Jose Mourinho. I was willing to sacrifice the Tottenham way to try and get a trophy. Look, it didn't work out. And look, I just want to get back to seeing football because, football's all about the enjoyment,
100%.
Loving your players, adoring your players, seeing them do the right things and getting behind them. But right now, look, there's not an awful lot to get behind. Look, we're seeing the same things more or less from last season where, you see one good half, whether we're shit in the first half and you see them trying in the second half, or you have a good first half and you completely capitulate in the second half. We've seen that an awful lot last season. The same thing keeps happening. Look, with Dele Alli, I was willing to, bite my tongue on it and give him till January. Look, he's done well in the midfield three. He's tracked back. He's worked hard, and he's adapted his game a little, which is what I wanted to see from him. To be fair, because he was never going to get back into the the team the way he was playing under Pochettino. Basically as that second striker, more or less.
Yeah.
But look, today he was awful. Today was absolutely awful.
The whole game, you think?
I don't think he was awful first half.
No, look, first half he was decent, but look, second half, he just went back to the lazy Dele Alli. Look, Thiago Silva from the corner kick,
didn't jump.
He just didn't compete. And even the one near the end where the ball was played in behind him for Timo Werner, he was just jogging in the box. You know what I mean? I get it, we're already 2-0 down, but Jesus Christ, they've been asking for the fans to get behind them all week. We got behind them, and then they show up like that in the second half. It's not good enough. It's not good enough. Look, it's as much as I'm starting to maybe question Nuno a little. Look, I'm still starting to question a lot of these players as well, because I find myself talking about the same things after games like these. It's character, bollocks, cojones. You know what I mean? Just showing up in games like this. Like, they need to really look. Don't get me wrong. I think it does hurt the players too, but it hurts us, and it's just the same thing happening over and over again. And look, we can question the manager and we can question the players, but ultimately, I've had a real smack in the face there. But ultimately, when you get the answers, it goes back to the top. And look, today is just really deflating. I'm just left disillusioned, to be honest with you.
I totally echo everything that you're saying there. I really felt that, actually. It's exactly how I feel right now, like just frustrated. I feel like we're almost... I'm not writing off Nuno, please. I am not writing off Nuno. I want to give him a chance to get this right and everything. I'm not saying this is all his fault either, but I do feel like we're repeating ourselves with picking another defensive manager and all that sort of stuff. I wanted to ask you the question, though. Does Dele get in... Because you were talking about your starting to question some of these players. But does Dele get into your starting 11 if you're picking the team?
Do you know what? Before the Palace game, I would have said yes.
Okay.
Before the Palace game, I would have said
yes.
But against Palace, I thought he was shit. Look, he was playing in a different position.
Yeah.
But today, look, I was ultimately left just... The second half today was reminding me more or less of the old Dele Alli. Look, the best Dele Alli was, we were getting tricks and flicks from him, and he had that little bit special, but when you look at it, we had players around him that allowed him to do that. We had Eriksen, you guys were saying, we had Moussa Dembele. You know what I mean? And just, look, we left ourselves in such a position over the years with not doing enough to the squad that we left ourselves in an impossible position this summer where we were never, ever going to fix all the problems at once. And we're just, honestly, do you know what? This is the worst position to be in, because we're in a position now where, what do you do? Do you back the manager and do you back the cause and everything else and just sit with it and see what you can do, or what do you do? Like, do you switch, but then you become in the danger of going down the route like Arsenal have, where you'll end up getting taken in a manager because he's the only one that'll come that has never managed before, and you're taking a chance. And look, it's just a scary position to be in right now. Look, but look, I could be overreacting because you take into the injury into account all the injury problems we've had. The players that went away on international duty and had to come back in quarantine. Bergwijn and Lucas picking up knocks during the week. You know what I mean? They would have made our team stronger today. Would have made our bench a bit stronger today. But it's just the way we just capitulated in the second half. It's just super annoying. Like, look, I get it. Tuchel made one change in Kante, and I know Kante's world class, but you cannot allow it to affect the game the way it did within 17 minutes, finding yourselves 2-0 down. Look, Tuchel played a masterstroke. He's seen they were getting overrun in midfield. He's seen we were more aggressive than them and that in midfield and starting to dominate. So he made that call early and he made that change. And, ultimately he ended up winning the game today. But, even when we went 1-0 down, even leading up to that goal, you could see things weren't right.
Yeah.
And you're thinking that even when you go 1-0 down, Nuno has to make a change quicker. Because us as Spurs fans, look, we've seen this time and time again. Once we go 1-0 down, especially after Pochettino era, our heads fall. And we go 2-0 down and things just progressively get worse. So Nuno has to be able to affect the game and see that straight away. He has to know his team a bit better. And he has to make that change straight away. Look, Ndombele playing today. Look, See, it's a tricky one because we need that player in midfield for creativity, right? But we don't have the players in and around him. We don't have the strength in the 11 to be able to allow him to flourish the way he needs to. And you know what I mean? Look, first half he was Endon Baller, second half he was Ronald McDombele. Why does he start getting fit?
Yeah, and that's the problem. That's the problem when his fitness goes. He doesn't just jog around. He walks around the pitch.
Yeah,
and so you lose so much in the middle of the park in terms of closing the ball down. It's like that you really lose a lot, and I think you do have to take him off at that point. As good as he is on the ball, Josh, you do at that point, don't you?
No, that's fine. That's fine.
But keep Lo Celso on is what you're saying.
Yeah, you've got to keep one of them on. I think. I don't know what you think, but yeah, I think you've got.
Yeah, go on, Dave, because I've got a soundboard of Josh comments about Lo Celso.
That's what I was going to say,
Dave.
Dave, what? Because you said he needed to make subs earlier. What did you think of the substitutions, though?
Too little, too late for me, to be honest with you. Look, what he could have done is either, if he wanted to keep Ndombele on, what he could have done is pushed him a bit further up the field and brought in Skip maybe earlier and got Skip to sit back with Højbjerg.
Exactly.
And keep going for the game, because you have the legs in midfield, you have the tenacity in midfield, and that way you're not asking too much out of the guy on what he just physically can't do anymore. Look, with Lo Celso, I actually have a bone to pick with him. Look, this is a guy, okay, he had a couple of good months in the team, but today, the second goal, he didn't know where he was. He has to realise he's deep in his own half. He has his back to play. He needs to be looking over his shoulder to see what's coming, or at least be on the half turn. But then he does the sinful thing. He takes a touch on the inside and gets his pocket picked. You have to take that touch on the outside. And it just comes down to these stupid little mistakes. And it comes down to maybe a bit of having a bit of football intelligence, football IQ. But then again, that comes down to who is really doing the deep scouting on some of these guys that are coming into the club. Because until we do our homework on a lot of these players, and I mean proper homework, research on the characters, making sure they're good lads off the field and everything else. And that way you'll see the results on the field, and you'll see them being able to problem solve for themselves on the field. That's another problem at Tottenham. Whenever we go one down, especially over the last couple of years, we don't have anyone who can problem solve on the pitch. Even Harry Kane. Look, Harry Kane is another one I want to get on today. I've sat here and I've defended that guy, till I'm blue in the face, and at the end of the day, he needs to pull his head out of his arse. Look, first half he was decent. He was getting on the ball. It was working. Ndombele had the eye. He was feeding Kane. Kane was feeding Son, and Son was turning to the Chelsea defenders where they didn't want to go, which was backwards and using his pace. But the second half, look, I get it, right? And I'm going to keep saying this. He's not getting the service, right? He isn't really getting the service, let's be honest. But at the same time, he's supposed to be a leader in this squad by now. Grab the game by the scruff of the neck.
Exactly.
Grab the game by the scruff of the neck. Like, all great players, if the game's not going your way, they do something different to be able to affect the game. What has he done the last few games that he's come on?
Exactly. This is my whole, Dave. This is my whole point that you gave me shit for a couple of weeks ago.
I know.
But I was saying this 2 weeks ago, wasn't I? And you gave me shit for it. And this is now, everyone's now seeing it. He's not a world-class player. Should be able to get back and still get control, pull the strings and sort of readapt their game during the 90 minutes to affect the game. And he's not doing that well enough for me.
Look, he's never been that player, in my opinion. Not saying
last season he was.
Yeah, but he's not. Look, he's a great passer of the ball. He's a great striker of the ball. Yeah. To affect a game on a grand level, you have to be able to do much more than that. You have to be able to beat a man. You have to be able to dictate tempo and stuff like that, and wriggle your way out of trouble. He isn't that player.
Doesn't have that.
He's never been that player. Do you understand? So, and even when he's at his best, he was being carried.
Even last season, though, he adapted his game to drop into almost like a quarterback position where he was picking up the ball. Toby would ping it to him. He would hold up the ball. Then he would wait for the runners. Then he'd ping it to the runners. I don't see. It's almost like we're not seeing. We saw it a little bit in the first half today, but second half, I just thought he just let the game drift away from us. I don't know, Dave. Come on, what do you reckon?
Yeah, but look, just back to the Kane thing again. Like, this brings me on to maybe the tactics. Look, Nuno was preparing for a season without Harry Kane. We could all see that. He was playing Son up top, Lucas out one side, Bergman out the other, and trying to get quick ball to them and getting them in. Right, so now all of a sudden, he's now had to adapt back to, getting Harry Kane in the team. But this is where Nuno now has to be better as well. Look, we do have to give him time to do it, but he has to be better here. With Harry Kane, and I've thought about this long and hard and deep over the last couple of days. when he was playing under Pochettino, and the reason why he looked so good under Pochettino, and he looked like he could skin a player, he could drop the shoulder, have a shot, he could do things, be more mobile, I guess, is because when you look back at it, Dele Alli was running off him all the time, which was creating space for Harry Kane. Son was running off him, which was creating space for Harry Kane. And he had Eriksen on the ball, so Harry Kane could either drop into spaces and know he was going to be found, or run in behind and make them runs and know the ball was coming. That's not there anymore. But Nuno does need to start getting players in and around him, start creating that space. And then you can get Harry Kane to turn on the ball. Either pop, have a shot at goal, beat players, spray the ball out left, get into the box, whatever it may be. Yep. But that's what we need to do now. We need to adapt. Look, I've got to the point where losing over the last couple of years has actually hurt me that much that now I've adopted a win or learn policy. So, like, I don't lose anymore. You know, after every game, I try to like take from things that we can maybe learn and maybe fix going forward. But look, I just want to say to people, because I know they're sick of me rambling on, I'm not really making much sense. I'm just
no, you are. It's brilliant. No, excellent.
I'm hanging on every word, mate. Honestly,
brilliant points so far. Carry on, man.
Look, I just want to say to every Spurs fan, look, you know, it's North London Derby week, you know, and I know it's hard, and I know people are going to be realists going into this North London Derby, but please, I can't have them rearing up coming into another North London Derby and Spurs fans suckering down to them. Just have the chest out, absolutely stick it to them gooner fucks, and I can't wait to see them next week.
Yes, I like it.
Yes, Dave.
Go on, Dave. Go on, my son. There we go. Finish off with a 1-2.
Yeah.
1-2 uppercut.
He's never thrown a punch before, has he, Dave? Did you see that? So I'm only joking.
Well, look, John, I was going to say, you know, I should apologise for you for maybe having a bit of go at you about Harry Kane. But look, I was going to, but I've thought about it. We actually won and you were having a go, so I couldn't do it. You know me.
Yeah, true. No, so look, I love your opinions, man. No, I love your opinions, my man. No, you don't have to. You have to apologise for F4, mate. Don't worry. No, listen.
He had to get that in, though, didn't he? He was like, you were giving me shit.
He was. No, but it's funny. But But the thing is I noticed that about Kane. But it's almost as if
you were right. You were.
You know, now people are starting to see it with him, and it's almost like, you know, someone has to be the first one to say it. And I said it early, but then now people are starting to see it, and it's almost as if he's not putting in that. I don't see that same level of commitment and dedication and heart and soul from him than I did last season personally. I know the team's different. I know we're not creating enough chances. And Dave was bang on when he said the team that we used to play, and you had Eriksen just behind him, you had Dele Alli and Son as runners. We were dominating the ball back then. We were camped out in the opposition's half, so obviously had a lot more freedom. We were creating more chances. Now we're not creating as many chances. Both Dele Alli and Harry Kane are going to have to adapt their game now to get more involved, aren't they?
Yeah,
that's the thing.
I totally agree. And do you know what the most damning fact about that is, when was our best game this season where we created the most chances? Man City, right?
Yeah.
Who wasn't there?
Yeah, exactly.
He wasn't there. But also, we had 3 quick forwards.
Do you want to talk about statistics? Since Kane's been on the pitch, I think we've conceded 9 goals or something like that, and only scored 1. When he's not been on the pitch, I think we've scored 3 and not conceded any.
Jesus.
I think we need a Simi stat man for that one. But I personally, this is what I was trying to say.
I think John's making that one up there.
We need Sim back in the hot seat for the stats. But I'm not going to put it all on that. I just think our overall performances leave a lot to be desired, I think, at the moment.
I don't think we can press from the front like we can without. And I'm not saying that we don't need Kane. I'm not saying that, guys.
Go on, say it.
Like, honestly,
you can get the hate in the comments instead of me.
John is the one that doesn't.
I get all the hate.
I respect Kane as a Spurs legend.
Come on, man!
All right?
Don't do me dirty like that. Don't do me dirty.
John doesn't want Kane to play, but I'm just saying that we probably press maybe a little bit better if Kane isn't playing and we're playing someone else. Even Dele up top, he runs at players like to press them. Do you know what I mean? Whereas Kane just kind of jogs about nowadays, doesn't he?
Yeah, exactly. But anyway, the Irish Hotspur, please follow his channel.
Yeah.
He's developed the Flat Cap Army. It's quite a thing over there. He's obviously the main man for the pre-match pump-ups. And,
When are you going to ask me to come on, Dave?
Look, whenever you want to come on, man.
I've been waiting for about 6 months, mate.
No, look, just
don't start Barney now. Don't have a little Barney.
You'd be surprised with the amount of messages I get on a daily basis. I don't even get through them.
Oh, look at him. What a diva. What a diva. I'm inundated with messages. I just can't get to my phone quick enough.
I won't
What's
bother then.
happened
Don't
here?
worry. I won't bother messaging you then because I'll just get left in the ether, won't I?
Yeah, Dave, just tell him to contact your agent, mate.
Who's that mobster?
I'll never get one of them. I can never have anyone tell me what to do. But no, look, I'd definitely like to get the two of you on as a combo. I think you are absolutely brilliant. Keep up the good work, guys. Absolutely great show, lifting spirits today. And look, no matter what, we're all Tottenham till we die. We suffer together and we win together. Come on, you Spurs.
Come on, you Spurs. Well done, Dave. Well done, mate. Ah, yes, the Godfather coming on, just leaving his mark there, as always. No, great insights from Dave, you know.
He always makes me feel better.
He does. Do you know what he's good? He kind of balances it out. He gives you like the reality check. The 1-2. Did I get it right?
There's just a
I
kind
need
of
to work
flailing
on that a little
answers.
bit. No, he likes to round it off with a nice little positive thing, doesn't he? Just to leave us with some hope. I really hope we get the next guest on. Okay.
We're trying for
this, but it looks a little bit pixelated. Really trying our best for this one.
With the mic last time. Maybe while we're waiting for it to sort out.
Any comments in between?
I think Dave got it spot on. Really.
Yeah.
I do think there's just something off, isn't there? I think a lot of us are making a lot of kind of suggestions. Some people are mentioning Kane, some people are mentioning Dele, some people are mentioning the fitness, some people are blaming it all on Nuno, some people whatever. But there is something off at the moment, and it's not like you can go and lose 3-0 to Chelsea. You can. This Chelsea team, anyone in the league can lose 3-0 to Chelsea. City could lose 3-0.
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
United could lose 3-0 to... But...
If this was at White Hart Lane, though, we would not have lost that game 3-0.
Definitely not. We would have scored 2 goals in that first half. Because, but, you know...
But yeah, I know what you're saying. Look, it's difficult circumstances at the moment, and you can't put it all on Nuno and like the injuries and the quarantines and everything else. It's almost like everything's been thrown at us, in the last few weeks. But there is something missing. I know what you mean. There's a lack of the lack of the cohesion there somehow, like threading it all together, connecting it all. It does feel a little bit off, doesn't it? First half it kind of worked.
Has Kane scored for Spurs this season?
No, he hasn't.
Oh, well, sorry, he's scored in the Europa League, but not in the Premier League. No.
So we're going to get into October without a Harry Kane goal, possibly.
Oh, we've got 1 game left in September, right? Jesus.
So worrying times there. But anyway, look, I think we've got him on now. He doesn't have a headphones or mic, so hopefully this works. No, he's just nodding. Fingers crossed. Okay, how are we doing, Lewis?
Yes. Hello.
Yes, there we go. Yes,
Lewis, how you doing, mate?
How are you doing?
Finally.
Right, finally we got you on, Lewis. What did you think of the game?
Absolutely terrible.
Yes.
Very true.
That's all I can say.
Yeah.
Very true.
So what went wrong then? Because I actually thought the first half was pretty decent, but then we didn't come out for the second half.
I don't know why Nuno's putting on Kane, to be honest.
Ooh. Say that again. You don't know what?
Doesn't know why Nuno's putting on Kane.
There we go. That's an alpha male right there. That's an alpha male right there.
I think he's cutting out.
He should have gone to Man City.
Yeah, I know.
Should have sold him 100.
That's what I thought. Start the new chapter, build it around young players, the explosiveness. Yeah.
Let him not press for them.
Yeah, exactly. Strong words, Lewis. So you reckon that was the key? Do you think that's the fundamental thing with the team at the moment?
Yeah, he's just not playing well, to be honest.
Yeah,
it's not.
Yeah.
Can you imagine if he dropped Kane?
I was making this point to Ben, and I said, this is the problem with Kane. If you play Kane, you can never take him off.
Yeah.
Can you? Who's going to take Kane off? Do you think Nuno's got the balls to
if he scores 2 goals, you can take him off. Or if he scores 1 goal,
I'm saying if he's not playing well, do you think Nuno's going to take him off? He's not going to take him off. This is the problem with Harry Kane. His stature is so big that you can't. If he's having a stinker, you can't take him off.
Yeah.
But do you know what the funny thing is? We have been having these discussions for years, as in Spurs fans, about Kane, and he keeps on scoring goals.
He keeps on scoring goals.
So I'm sure he will come back. What do you reckon, Lewis? Do you reckon he's going to score before the end of September? No.
I don't know.
No? Who's your favourite player for us then, Lewis?
Sonny. Yeah, I knew it.
Yeah, I've got it at the back of my t-shirt.
Yeah.
And he wants to be here. He's signed that contract, didn't he, Lewis? So,
yes.
So who would you be playing instead of Kane?
definitely Son and Lucas.
Son and Lucas.
He's a more sexual, this boy.
Yeah, but who's holding up the ball, Lewis?
We've got players in there that can do that.
Who?
Yeah.
Just to hold the ball up.
Yeah, who can hold up
You
the
just
ball?
want a player that can hold the ball
Well,
up.
both of them would be chasing him behind, but who's going to hold the ball up at all?
It doesn't. The game doesn't kind of work like that. You know what I mean? There's lots of
If you're
players
not
can
playing
hold the ball
hoofball,
up.
but
Yeah,
but
hoofball. Oh, you want a hoofball?
Nuno likes playing hoofball.
I don't know. I think Lewis
That
has got
Nuno
it right.
plays hoofball for Wolves. He's played for Valencia. We got another hoofball manager.
We've got a
just to
hoofball.
let you-
Hoofball FC.
Yeah.
No,
Sorry,
go on, Lewis.
Sorry.
So come on. So you reckon Mora and Sonny? Do you know what? I like that. I think that kind of that works. I actually like the front three of Bergwijn,
Mora's
Lucas,
got
and
the
Mora as well.
pace.
Who would you play for the middle then? Sonny, Lewis, yeah?
Yeah.
And then Mora on the right, Bergwijn on the left.
Yeah.
I'll tell you
Lucas
what's a
has
press
got the
team.
pace.
Sorry, Lewis, carry on.
It's all
Stop
right.
interrupting the
I'm
man.
just saying-
He's on a flow here.
No, it's fine. It's fine. It's just that Lucas has got the pace, so he can run and get the ball quicker
Yeah.
and all that.
What did you think about the lineup in total today? Like, apart from Kane, did you like the midfield and that? Gio Lo Celso and Ndombele and stuff?
The midfield. Yeah. That was good. Midfield was quite strong. Yeah, that's the only good thing about the team, to be honest. The defenders,
Yeah.
I don't know what they were doing, but they were just off track.
Do you think? Because I actually, do you know what? I thought they were quite exposed today, the central defenders. But I actually thought Romero, ironically, even though we got pumped second half, I actually thought he showed a lot to me.
I thought he was great.
I thought he was excellent.
He's winning every header.
In a kind of bizarre way, in a paradoxical way, because we were getting touched second half. I actually thought Romero. I still looked at Romero objectively and watched what he was doing on the ball, and I thought he looked excellent. I do. It's a weird one, isn't it? Because he lost 3-0, but and your centre backs, you always look at the centre backs. But I actually thought Romero for me was excellent,
which is
strange, isn't it, to say that?
Yeah, well, it's odd because he brought on defensive players. So you had Højbjerg, Dele, and Skip. Dele's basically playing like a DM anyway.
Yeah.
So it's like you had 3 defensive players, and then we still looked worse defensively than when we had Gio Lo Celso and then Ndombele on, because we had no control. Do you know what I mean?
Do you want to say it again?
Do you agree with me,
Lewis? Do you agree with Josh?
You do.
Yeah.
So you don't think that Gio Lo Celso and Ndombele should have gone off?
No.
No?
They were playing pretty well.
They were, weren't they? Definitely.
Yeah.
Maybe one of them, but not both of them.
Oh, yeah. As soon as it went 2-0, my dad turned the TV off, so I couldn't.
That's a true Spurs fan right there. I love it. Do you know what? Can I tell you something? I was in Brazil when we were in the Champions League quarter-final against Man City. You know when Sterling scored? Do you remember? And it was given offside.
But you
know
turned
it
it
was
off.
I threw my phone at the wall. I smashed my phone against the wall.
What,
right?
how long did it
and then
take?
after that, I slowly put the pieces back together. And then I turned it on, managed to get BBC Sport back on, and I saw that it was still we were winning the game.
Yeah. I turned it off, and I didn't, and I just started getting. I just
I
remember
was so
throwing
angry.
my phone
I
on
was
the sofa.
so angry.
Yeah.
I just threw my phone at like 100 miles an hour at the wall.
I just started
So
getting.
I know that feeling.
Getting
I know
messages,
the feeling.
getting buzzes of like, VAR, like.
Oh, really? You
people saying
started to
VAR,
get-
yeah. And I was like, what's happened? Because I turned it off.
I know that feeling, Lewis. I don't blame your dad one bit. He's obviously gone through the wars like every Spurs fan has. What was your Lewis? What was your earliest Spurs memory?
Well, years ago, I think 2010.
Lifetimes ago. Yeah.
Well, you would have been about 3 or 4 then, wouldn't you, Lewis?
Can you remember your first game? Can you remember who you first loved as a player?
Oh, I went to my first game was Stoke City.
Oh, blimey.
Was that under Poch?
Yeah.
One of the 4-0s or the 2-2?
No, 2010.
Old.
4-0.
No,
Oh,
I
no,
don't think
because he
he's
might have gone
talking
to a
about-
game later on.
Right,
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, the 4-0.
I can't
That's
remember
my
what.
first ever game at White Hart Lane.
Nice.
Okay.
Yeah, I remember.
Oh, that
one.
would have been under Poch, actually.
Yeah, he
That would have
said
been
his
under Poch.
earliest Spurs memory. He didn't say that was his first game. He just
Yeah.
was talking about the memory. Wasn't
Yeah,
he?
yeah. Welcome to the the misery of being a Spurs fan, the ups and downs of being a Spurs
We
fan.
will get there, Lewis.
We'll get there. We will get there eventually.
One
Next
day.
time, this time
That's
next year,
perfect.
Rodders. This time next year.
Do you know what? That's what they tell you, Lewis. They tell you that we need to win trophies, but don't let them tell you that there's glory in not winning trophies as well. Well, that's what I tell myself. Anyway. Don't aim too high, because as a Spurs fan,
you get burnt, don't you? You get burnt.
Let's just be happy with some good football at some points.
Yeah, try and find the positives in every defeat. It's almost like a Bruce Lee philosophy, you know. Try and extrapolate the good and the bad.
Yeah, I was happy when we were in first. I was celebrating my uncle's and Gunnar, so I had to celebrate in front of him.
What when what happened?
And that didn't end well.
What, celebrating what, Lewis?
When we come first place for like 2 days, and then that.
Oh, I see. Yeah, when we were top of the league for like 10 minutes against Arsenal.
Yeah.
Do you remember that? Back in 2000.
Well, when Kane scored with it and took the mask off.
Yeah, that game.
Yeah.
Oh, that game.
I was laughing at him because he was 20th and he's a Gunnar, so I was laughing, and then he just said, "No, not first anymore." I was like, "Oh no, I'm gutted."
Oh dear, that was a gutting game. That was a bittersweet game. That was. It had so many great. It was such an iconic game, but then
why did we have to
dear.
concede that goal? But yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, Lewis, that's the first time I've spoken to you, mate. Absolutely first class from yourself
call.
there. Top
Brilliant
call.
call.
I think you're my favourite caller today. So
I agree.
Make
Thank
sure
you
you
for
come on
coming
again.
back.
Come back on. Oh yeah, you got you showed a bit of perseverance today, and you came back again. You showed a strong second half performance there. Well done, Lewis. Come on, you Spurs.
Come on, you Spurs.
Come on, you Spurs.
Bye.
Go on, see you, mate.
Well done, Lewis.
Oh, look at that.
Brilliant call.
Brilliant call. What a legend Lewis
Oh,
is.
look at the state of this
Oh,
lot.
no,
Who's
look,
this?
oh, no. Do we have to bring
no.
these two on?
I don't want these lot.
He's
We got some trolls in the calls here.
Oh, no. He's...
You're muted.
He's surely... No to unmute yourself, guys. Jeez, schoolboy
Come
error.
on, Ben. It's illegal to drive with the light on. Here we go. Is Ben there?
John, Harry
sorry, it's him.
out.
Oh! Strong words,
Are you agreeing, Ben?
Wow. Go on, Ben.
In the dark.
Ben's had a few neck oils. He's a little bit slow on the...
How are we doing?
How are we doing? We can't see you. Oh, there we go. There we go.
Sim's definitely been on the neck oils back there, isn't he?
There's been a few neck oils on the go.
We could have done with Harry Winks today, no, John?
Yeah. Need some of those forward passes, eh, Sim? Come on, guys. Lay it out for us.
First half today, it looked like we were on for something special today.
Yeah, it did. Yeah.
And then second half, you know, we did what we do. And Nuno, the thing is about Nuno, he doesn't know how to bloody change things during a game. He doesn't know.
Yeah.
I think today was elite level coaching from Tuchel. That's the difference between a good manager and a great manager.
Absolutely. Straight as soon as half time came, he made the change, didn't he?
Adapted to the situation. We were playing really well, but Tuchel saw exactly where the problem was in the team for Chelsea. He adapted to the situation, brought on Kante. We had no response. And to be fair to Nuno, it was a goal from a set piece and a lucky deflection for Kante. Although, yes, Chelsea had up their game by half time, but the way they scored, it was kind of game over after 7 minutes in the second half. And I felt for him in that aspect. But look, Tuchel changed it. He adapted, and that's why he's an elite level coach.
But we don't create chances. Why can't we create chances with those players on the pitch? Ndombele looked brilliant in the first half, and in the second half he looked awful. He looked absolutely awful. Why can't we create chances? What is it about this team? What is it about this manager? Harry Kane does not get involved whatsoever in the game. He has not been involved at all this whole season.
Yeah.
This whole season he has not been involved so far. And it's pissing me off.
This is becoming a Kane out channel.
No, it's just you got to be objective about it. It's true. Listen, any player has a bad game, you call it out, right?
Yeah.
You don't give people passes just because they're certain players, right?
Yeah.
And Ben is spot on. He's spot on there.
100.
And I don't know why we're not creating chances. We've got players to still do it.
I think we created chances in the first half, don't you guys think?
Look, you see how we only look dangerous in transitions when the team are settled in their defensive line. We don't look like creating chances whatsoever.
Even in the first half.
We never look like creating chances is pressing, transitions, quickly getting into the opposition half. When the team is set in their defence, it's like we have no answer. We have no tactical ability to move players around, create space, move between the lines. We don't do any of that. We only look dangerous in transition.
I agree with that.
That's a coaching problem.
That's
Even first half?
that's absolutely bang on.
Would you
No,
say-
second half it went way too static, way too stale. There was no movement off the ball. They weren't getting close enough to each other. There was no quick interchanging. There's no 1-2s. They weren't creating little patterns of play. The first half we saw loads of that. Reguilon was pushed in advanced areas. Second half we sat back. The heads dropped as soon as the first goal went in. All the desire got completely leaked out of the team, didn't it?
Yeah. No,
Why do you think that is? Why did we not show up second half? Why were we not playing with that same aggression as the first half? Do you think?
I tell you why, because they put Kante in, we lost the midfield battle. All of a sudden, they had control of that area where we had control of. Then Alonso was getting complete free reign down that left-hand side after the change. And then also, look, 2 quick goals that can happen to you, especially the second goal was a bit of luck. Can't do anything about that. And then all of a sudden, Nuno decides to win the midfield battle back. He brings on Ollie Skip. And then we have that midfield three of Skip, Højbjerg and Dele. And we're literally looking for counter-attacks. Turn the radio on. We're literally looking at counter-attacks to get back in the game.
Getting serious. Turn the radio off. Come on.
Yeah. Turn it up, sod it.
You can't get back in a game with counter-attacks. You need to control and have an element of attack if you're going to get back into a game. Otherwise, you're way too easy to just pick off. They can wait for you, and then you can counter-attack effectively. And but when we're trying to counter-attack them, we had nothing. We gave up control, and we had no link between the midfield and the attack like we did in the first half. And that's why we looked so poor.
I'm sorry, but we're seeing flaws. We're seeing big flaws in Nuno's game week in, week out at the moment. We really are. We really are. And I'm not saying Nuno out. I'm not saying anything like that. I wanna put my faith in the manager. But it's very hard at the moment. It's very hard when he's not finding. It's hard when he's.
It's five
I'm not. Look, I just said I'm not saying Nuno out.
I agree with Ben.
I want to put my faith in the manager, but it's hard when he's not finding ways out of games right now. I genuinely believe in that first half we had the game for the taking.
Yeah, they were there for the taking.
Oh,
they were
definitely, 100%.
I was so encouraged by that first half display. I thought it was an excellent performance. I thought it's actually like the White Hart Lane performances of smothering teams, and being really aggressive, hunting in packs. I loved it, but then it just seeped out. And I understand Kante came on, but there was no attempts to even close the ball down second half. There was none of it.
We react way too slowly. Well, we look. The game was over 7 minutes in the second half, but it took us 7 minutes to realise the game was gone already. They had gained so much control in those early parts of the second half. Yeah, like the game was gone already. And I do feel for Nuno. I think, look, Romero was cramping
every
up.
Every game we're saying we're feeling for Nuno.
Yeah,
because
he's a month late.
I love this.
Yeah,
come on,
everything.
Man.
There's so many circumstances.
How many games are we going to say, oh, we feel for Nuno?
I agree. I agree with Ben. I agree with Ben totally there.
More than 5.
The guy has got to make changes in games to impact the game. He does not do that.
His in-game management's been dodgy.
Every single problem that we're seeing right now, and I'm not blaming, I'm not saying Nuno out, but every problem that we can see right now can actually be pointed back to managerial decisions when we're talking about substitutions that he's making, lineup decisions last week, the way that he's asking us to play, so it's like you have to kind of put that at Nuno's door. Of course he doesn't need to leave right now. He needs to have time to learn and adapt to his squad. But right now, a lot of it is Nuno's fault, in my opinion. Well,
it has to be. Who else is it going to fall at the feet of?
Nuno, obviously, I can see what we criticised Nuno very heavily. I was one of the ones who criticised Nuno very heavily after last week's defeat. I just think and I'm just saying, at the moment, there's a lot of circumstances. You could see, like, Lo Celso only lasted an hour. He didn't look that fit. Romero was cramping up for 20 minutes.
Our team only lasted 45 minutes, never mind an hour.
Exactly.
Yeah, because the change was made. Look, the change was made at halftime to bring Kante on. Then 7 minutes into the second half, the game was gone. After 7,
why after we concede one goal or two goals?
There was a set piece and a lucky deflection, and the game is gone. And look, they did gain control in the second half, right? But I feel for him a bit because I think we were playing well, and then 2 quick-fire goals right at the beginning of the second half, and all of a sudden the game's taken away from us. And I do blame Nuno for the substitutions he made that negatively affected us. But I have a bit of sympathy for him.
Do you think they should have kept one of Lo Celso and Dembele on?
Yes, 100%. And if anyone,
yes, I've been saying this the whole stream. You have to.
Have you?
You have to keep one of them on. You have to keep one of them on. Otherwise, our attacking threat completely diminishes. If it wasn't diminished before, because we hardly created a bloody chance before anyway.
It was in that second half anyway, I'd say.
Yeah.
I think first half there was
a lot of chances
talk about
there.
Positives.
There were so many chances.
I haven't, apart from like at times in the City game.
Yeah.
This season, I haven't seen us play like that. We cut through them first half. Like there were times where it's bouncing off Delhi to Kane to Ndombele to
You need to get that goal. You need to get that goal, otherwise it's irrelevant. You need to get that goal.
First half, I don't think anyone's played against Chelsea as well as that, to be honest, this whole season. Unfortunately, look, this is the difference between having a good manager and an elite manager like Tuchel. As I've said, Tuchel is an elite manager. He's a different level to Nuno, 100%. And he showed it today. He completely outdid Nuno today.
He's looking like the next one in line, isn't he? Like the next one, as in like the next. Like Pep or Jose,
and we could have had Tuchel as well. He actually
was
like dropping hints that he wanted to come and be our manager as well at one point.
He loves Tottenham.
Yeah, he's a Spurs fan when he was younger.
Maybe we'll get him next when Chelsea sack him.
No, but they've won about 5 trophies in a couple of years' time.
When his stock's completely done, Jose Mourinho style. That's what we.
That's when we'll get him in 10 years.
Chelsea don't hang on to managers for long. Something will go wrong.
Yeah, that's true.
PSG sacked him for God's sakes. Like, do you know what I mean?
Yeah. But, if that's what we've got to cling on to at the moment, as hope.
What are you guys feeling for Arsenal now, Sim and Ben?
We're gonna fucking do him.
Come on.
I just hope Nuno learns the positive lessons of today going into the Arsenal game and doesn't think, we should have started with Skip, Højbjerg and Dele in the centre like we finished the game to gain control in the midfield. I hope he learns the positive lessons, goes with a similar approach to the first half, gets the attacking players in there, because I think a worse team than Chelsea, we could have got a couple of goals in the second.
Mate, if we play like we did in the first half at the Emirates, we will literally score 5 goals in the first half. I'm telling you, we will put them to the sword. If we come out with that mentality like we did in the first half, we will beat them. We will. If we come out like we did in the second half, we'll get shat on.
Sim, do you think that it is actually... Like, do you think Nuno is going to turn around now and go, oh, look, that was your attacking football. Look what happens when I try and play attacking. We lose 3-0. Like, and then revert to defensiveness now? Or do you think do you think he will look at that first half and go, like, what do you think is going to happen now if you had to guess? Like,
I'm scared. I'm scared the way he reacted in that second half by putting that centre mid back free to finish the game. That did scare me a little to think, okay, Nuno thinks that this is what needs to happen to gain control of the team. So I'm worried that he is going to do that, to be honest. I'm worried he's against Arsenal who think, they have Odegaard, Smith Rowe. I'm going to have to put 3 CDMs or 2 CDMs again in there. I hope he persists with Lo Celso and Ndombele. I really do, because I think they're the key to our team, to the link between the attack and midfield. If they can get the work rate out of them two, the quality they have on the ball will be very, very difficult to deal with for any team. So they're 100%. The key for us. So I really believe if he can get the balance right with them two in the team, then that's the way forward. So I hope Nuno persists with them. I think it was a positive step that he did put Skip on the bench and put Ndombele in the team. I think that was a bit of a statement saying he wants to go forward with that. So I'm hoping he persists with it. And look, we were much better in the first half, so I hope he can see that. And that's all I'm saying. It'll be interesting to see what he does on Thursday. Maybe we'll get a better indication. But I really hope he doesn't think after this game that we have to go back to being on the counter-attack like the second half, because we were shocking. We were in the last half an hour, it was like a training game. We'd given up we'd given up all hope. All the players seemed to give up any sort of urgency to go and get back in the game in that last half. That's
urgency,
the worry.
No desire whatsoever, was there? The heads completely dropped, and there was no real leadership out there to drive the team forward, I thought.
Yeah.
All I'm going to say...
And Emerson's like trudging over to like take it as if like we're not 2-0 down, as if we got all the time in the world.
And in the first half, he was going 100 miles an hour, Emerson.
I was like, have we just like given up any chance of getting back in the game? Do we not believe at all we are going to get back in the game? And I think the changes killed. I think the changes killed any momentum we could have gotten.
What did you guys think of Romero?
I thought at half time, I remember saying to people, this guy looks amazing.
Yeah.
Like he was really looking good. And second half, I have nothing to say. Second half,
he wasn't bad though, was he?
I went for a bloody beer at half time. By the time I come up, it was 2-0 already.
Oh God, I didn't know that.
In terms of Romero, I think he played really well, but again, I think he was a bit short of fitness. At 70 minutes, he was cramping up. You shouldn't be cramping up at 70 minutes.
He's just flowing in yesterday, though, isn't he, Sim?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So I think it was a positive start, especially first half. He kept Lukaku in his pocket, but then second half, I think he couldn't keep it up. And I think Lukaku was getting a lot more joy because Romero is a different kind of centre back. He relies very much on his fitness, like getting in front of defenders, being very super aggressive. And if you're just an inch off your game in that kind of role, and you just let strikers bully you and get the better of you for a second, then that's it. You see control, and that's what happened. And I think he needs to build up his fitness form. I think him and Lo Celso didn't seem completely 100% in that second half, especially.
To be honest, I think signs are good. I think that the way we're starting games, definitely today, I think signs are good in terms of our first 11 out there. But once it gets past that, once we get into second half, when things don't go our way, we're completely screwed because Nuno doesn't find the kind of ways to change things in games. We don't have the personnel on the bench to change games. So we're pretty screwed, to be honest, because, we can look as good as we do in the first half. The second half, we can't change things. We cannot change things because Nuno doesn't seem to have the tactical nous to do it. And we don't have the players on the bench to do it either. So I don't know where we're going to go this season.
Yeah, I want to give Nuno a bit of time. Just get all those players into a system that they all, all know that he's got time with the players. So it's only 5 games in. So it takes time sometimes to develop these, and especially I don't think at any point he's had all his players available to kind of get that system right. So there's been a lot of change, a lot of difficult circumstances. So I think it was a difficult day in the second half, but we did go toe to toe in the first half, and I give him credit for that because I thought I really was worried going into the game would be like Arsenal where they were never in the game and it was over by half time. At least we gave them a game in the first half, but the second half was worrying for sure.
Everything that is going wrong with Tottenham, there's only one man culpable for it, and his name is Daniel Levy.
I thought you were going to say Harry Kane.
Yeah. No. What it comes down to is Daniel Levy and the board. And that's all that's happening right now. That is why we don't have a fit enough squad now. We don't have a good enough squad to go through in the season and challenge top 4. That is why Harry Kane is downing tools because he doesn't feel, he doesn't want to leave Tottenham. He's felt that he's forced to leave Tottenham because of the way things are at the club. And that's all down to Daniel Levy. I'm afraid to say it, but it really is. It really is. I don't put any blame on anyone but him.
Strong words, but warranted, I think.
Are you Brian? Are you Brian? Are you Brian Daigle in disguise?
Brian Daigle
in disguise.
Right. Maybe we need Brian Daigle to take the hot seat, don't we? We need him in there.
That Levy rad.
He would sort our club out, wouldn't he, Brian?
Oh, can you imagine? Yeah, no, but I totally agree with everything.
Yeah, of course, yeah. I would put it more as Joe Lewis's feet as well, but
yeah, but Joe Lewis is not really. He's not really involved, is he?
That's the problem.
Yeah.
Anyway, Sim and Ben, looks like you enjoyed some neck calls today, which is good. See you later.
Thanks for having us on.
See you soon, guys.
Thank you, guys. Yeah.
See you later. Oh. Nice guys. First time callers.
First time callers.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. They're a bit iffy. Them lot. Don't really like
Won't
them
bring
that
them
much,
on again.
to be honest.
Oh, we've got more, have we?
Oh, have
Wowzers.
we? How many more after this?
I thought that was it. I thought that we're finishing with a. How many more have we got, Jake? Oh gosh, we got a lot. Alrighty.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll do some quick ones, guys. So we're just going to do one talking point each.
Go quite soon.
So, Yusuf, how are you doing, Yusuf? Directed by Quentin Tarantino.
Hey guys, can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
How
right.
you doing, Yusuf?
Yeah.
All right. So first time, long time listening. Love the show, guys. So one thing I really want to talk about today's game that I've noticed is it has to do with Dele Alli, and I don't know what people's upset. I was upset with him this entire game today. I don't know what people's obsession with him. They say, "Oh, look how hard he's working. Look how the tackles he's putting in off the ball." But people have to ask themselves one question: when he's getting those tackles off the ball, what happened before that? It's usually him high up the pitch, losing the ball. And the thing is, he's not doing anything on the offensive half that warrants him to keep getting a starting spot over and over every single game. And I'm getting really frustrated with Nuno constantly picking him because I feel like he slows when we're on the counterattack, he slows down the play of our game a lot. And when he does have the ball and he gets a nice little dribbling motion going, his decision making is just not there to release the ball earlier. I remember, I think it was around the 70th minute today. I don't know if you guys remember. Dele Alli had a nice, strong run that ended right in the bunch 4 center backs in Chelsea's 18-yard box. And the thing is, he had 2 players around him he could have passed the ball to, but instead he just kept running. And he couldn't. It almost reminds me of Eric Lamela, just like running into space, and instead of like having that wherewithal to either take a shot or pass the ball, he just kind of just keeps running until he's given up the ball, and now this springs on a Chelsea counterattack on us. And it's just like just seeing him lose the ball constantly is frustrating me. And I get that he's puts in some last ditch challenges. He does help on the defensive end, but I feel like he's really only helping the defensive end when he's losing the ball. So he's just making up for the mistake he caused prior. And then I just feel like he just did not deserve to stay on 90 minutes, especially when you look at the fact that Ndombele and Lo Celso came off instead of him. He played all 90 minutes. I just thought that was insane to me.
Yeah.
What do you guys think about that?
Oh,
Yusuf, honestly,
best friend now.
Yeah. Actually, I think Yusuf's been my favourite caller now, definitely. Because it's true, you picked up on something that I didn't really go into at all, which is, he's right, Dele loses the ball in the final third, Whereas you might not see Ndombele running back and making last-ditch challenges, but guess what? He doesn't need to because he's not lost the ball.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So it's like, it's actually more defensively sound to have Ndombele on the pitch because he's less likely to lose the ball and then break away. Do you,
I hear that.
get what I'm saying? So it's like, you're
absolutely.
actually probably safer, and that's why we looked better in the first half, more defensively sound, because we had 2 ball-playing midfielders. So I totally agree with that, Yusuf.
Yeah.
And I think he should have. I think Nuno's first substitution, if I'm going to be in Nuno's head and I'm looking at the game going at halftime, I think I would take off Dele Alli and bring on Brian Hill and let Lo Celso and Ndombele play out for at least 10 to 15 more minutes just to see how that addition changes. And then if we're still not having proper control over the midfield, then I'd say I'd take off. I guess you'd have to take off Ndombele for Skip, just because Ndombele has the worst fitness. But I think in terms of productivity, I think Ndombele is more productive on the ball than Lo Celso was in terms of what he's able to create. But because of the fitness, you are kind of forced to take him off before you take off Lo Celso.
That was the reason they brought him on. It was just fitness. I think if they were match fit, they would have played if they could have done, wouldn't they?
I don't believe that.
Yeah.
Well, you don't believe they were not match fit?
No, I think, look, this is the sort of thing that we used to say with Mourinho. We used to say that, you know, Mourinho, he's only subbing them because, you know, they're both not fit enough to last 90 minutes or whatever, blah. But he rarely started them both together when they were both fit, after we'd
I know, that was the frustration that I always had,
Yeah, and I don't see Nuno doing it either. He loves skipping Dele too much.
Do you think that's what it is?
Yeah, I think that he loves Dele because Dele runs a lot, more than both Lo Celso and Ndombele. He works hard. And he's still hanging on to.
It's not optimized work rate, is what you're saying, compared to like an Ndombele or something like that.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Okay.
But
one point about Harry Kane. So people have been getting on Harry Kane a lot, and he's not performing the best, and rightfully so. So I'm not mad at people for getting on Harry Kane in terms of his goal output and like his output currently. But I think we also take some other things into account. It's like we said, the team as a whole is just not creating a lot. And John, I kind of want to say something about you said he needs to take the game by the scruff of the neck. And you actually mentioned something about this. But Harry Kane, his ability is just not suited to where he can do anything on his own. I don't think he's ever been that player where he can do something on, like, we'll take Son, for example, right? Son has amazing dribbling ability and amazing pace. So when the game's not going his way, like, we'll take that solo goal, was it against Burnley or West Ham? He, like, took it from his own body. Harry Kane can't ever do anything like that because he does not have the physical abilities to do things like that. However, something we did see him do today, which he can do, is when he gets a little bit of space, he can kind of get off of a player and get a shot off. When he was going, I think he got a little bit of space off of, I believe it was Thiago Silva, and he was able to get one shot off to Kepa. Granted, it was an easy save for Kepa, but that was still him able to create kind of space on his own and shoot. But the issue is, when he gets the ball in those deep positions now, especially because they kind of picked up on him taking that quarterback role, is he gets surrounded by 4 players. And now he has like no room to maneuver the ball except for when Højbjerg comes short, or like today was Emerson coming short. They're just trying to help move the ball from that space. But he gets closed down so much. And that's just because we don't have enough spacing on the offensive half of our game. Because we have Son. And everyone knows when he picks up that ball, he's going straight for Son. So you close down Son and close down Kane. Who's our next option? We need, when we had Bale, it opened up the game a lot more because we had another offensive option, which was taking the defensive pressure off of Kane because center backs can't close him down. With any like basics of sports, it's about spacing on the court. Kane's not doing anything different that he's ever done. What's happening now is he has less space on the floor because we have less offensive players who take off that defensive pressure he's getting from the center backs. So I think we really
that's definitely true. That's definitely true. Yeah,
we really missed out on getting.
They're being squeezed out.
I think if we had like a player like Adama who can take that defensive pressure off Kane, we would see a lot more productive Kane.
I think Lucas can do that role, though. I think Lucas can do that role, Yusuf.
I think we missed Lucas today.
I think I talked to you about this in the comment, John, about how Lucas has the ability to run in behind. And I think Lucas would be more productive if he did actually run in behind. But I think a player who might be more suited to that maybe is a Bergwijn.
Exactly. I think Bergwijn's more of a Bergwijn job.
Yeah. I think Bergwijn, especially because he needs the goals, I guess, more than Lucas does. I think he's the player we need to adapt to play more like Son in terms of running in behind. And now Kane now has 2 players to aim at. And now this takes the spacing off of him. And now you also have more players who can contribute to goals that way.
Yeah, no, I don't think Bergwijn's actually got the... And this might be a bit... controversial, but I don't actually think Bergwijn's got the pace to do it.
Pace?
Yeah, if people all say that Bergwijn's fast, he's actually not that fast at all. He's above average pace, I'd say, just above average. He gets caught up by defenders all the time. He's not like Son, electric, even Lucas, electric. I don't think he has the pace to play a Son role.
So then maybe Lucas is the guy we need to have do that role, but we need... I think the only way we can really fix this system of play is if we bring in a third player who can. I guess a second player who can run in behind, because it can't just be Son. Because just having the Mark Kane and Son is too easy for defenses.
Yeah.
You need that third player. Yeah. Which is why also Son didn't have too great of a game today. He's just he's squeezed out sharp, but he's also getting closed down a lot easier. Like Thiago Silva was closing down pretty well, and Thiago Silva is an amazing defender, so we can't take anything away from that. But there's not enough spacing for Kane and Son. We need that third player to help space the floor a lot more.
Yusuf, if we were a Quentin Tarantino movie, what would we be called today on today's performance?
Spurs or us, do you mean?
The performance, the team.
Because we'd definitely be Pulp Fiction.
We'd be Inglourious Bastards, wouldn't we? In the comments section, you can put if we could be a Quentin Tarantino movie based on today's performance, what would we be?
What do you think, Yusuf?
Oh man, I guess we have I don't know what movie we could go Inglourious Bastards.
Jackie Brown.
If I had to make up a title that Quentin would use for this game, Quentin would make up a title of A Tale of Two Halves.
Yeah, that is very Quentin, isn't it?
Yeah. That's a good one. All right, Yusuf. Great comments, my man. On point.
Great call. Honestly, brilliant call.
Yeah, because he agreed with you earlier.
Yeah, I think Yusuf.
It's on point, Yusuf. No, it was absolutely on point.
He's been waiting a long time, and he spat pure facts, spitting fire, Yusuf. Honestly,
fire.
I had a lot of time to think about what I was gonna say.
Yeah, you're killing it, bro.
You had a script laid out.
You guys.
Thanks, Yusuf. Cool. Cheers, my man. Yeah, good stuff there by Yusuf. And let's also now bring on Canva. Last call. So this is the what do we call it? The anchor leg. Is that what it's called? No, I don't know. I'm making words up now. I'm sure it's called the anchor leg in the
70s. I don't know how old John is, but
Canva, how you doing, mate?
Hi guys.
Hey, Canva.
Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, sure, man. We can hear you well. What would you like to say, my friend?
Okay, so I've been a football fan for a long time now, and I've seen a lot of things, and I think that sometimes people can just get a little caught up into the mix of things. It's only been 5 games, and I think overall, looking at it, for me at least, it was a positive performance in comparison to the previous games.
Yeah.
I think within the context of what I would like to see Spurs be, at least by the end of the season, going into the following season, this is the best. This is the best step.
Better than City.
Much better than City in terms of performance.
You think so? Okay.
I don't mind the sitting back transition football against Manchester City, because City, they'll have the ball. It's fine. And I think one thing that I will say about Manchester City is that the structure of our counter-attack compared to Mourinho is a lot more. It's basically there. But I think the one thing that I like the most about this performance is the pressing, because even with Tangai, I love Tangai, I love him to bits. We don't have creativity, and pressing is another way of creating chances, and counter pressing as well, which I thought we did extremely well, a lot better actually. I don't expect us to press high, but I like the fact that we did this game. One thing I will say is, like you guys are saying, the substitutes are the reason why we lost the game. For me, in the first half, Chelsea were playing the two guys in the central midfield, right? And then they had switched. So then we had the numerical superiority because we had, I think we had Tangai, we had Højbjerg, and we had Ali, right? Yeah, in midfield. So we had the numerical superiority. The problem then became is Chelsea then changed it and they put on Conte, and then there was 3v3, and Conte is basically an extra man, so you could say that we had an inferiority. So, but my main issue then is Nuno not changing it. Like simple changes, like instead of playing 4-3-3, we go to like a 4-1-4-1, which means the wingers are a lot deeper. Therefore, the wing backs are being tracked at least. Something like that would have been nice, or made sense. Because I think that the moment that they switched to the 3 in midfield, we struggled to press them high up the pitch, and the moment that was when like they were able to build up, and when they were able to build up, they were able to play right through us. But other than that, honestly speaking, I just thought we were just much better. So yeah.
Much better than what? Much better than last week, you mean?
Much better in terms of much better. I think tactically, at least, this was our better performance in terms of like what I would like to see from a Spurs side, because I want to at least be entertained, and I do think that pressing is extremely important in terms of generating chances. Because like, look, I'm not too worried about the result because it's a corner, which in another game we don't concede. It's a fluke goal from Kante, which another game Lloris saves it, and then the third goal happened. Fine, whatever. But I think what we did in the first half was that we showed an ability to generate the chances, and if you're generating chances in open play, you're yielding, or that yields a higher reward. And if you're conceding your chances in open play, and the chances that we did concede were literally just dead ball situations most of the time, and like a few problems in the wider spaces. But other than that, I think there are positives to take from this, and I think if you're overreacting now, 5 games in, it's a little ridiculous. So like, we're gonna be better if we continue like this.
Well, look,
I agree with that. But can I throw in a contentious point to that? It's only adding to what he's saying, and then I actually saw a lot of similarities in today's game. You remember the Bayern Munich game? Where we lost 7-2. The first half of that game, we flew at Bayern, right? I actually thought we were much the better team in that first half. But then they slowly started to...
played that first half,
do you
way.
remember, they sucker punched us. They sucker punched us, and then it was just like a cricket score by the end. I almost got the same feel of today's game, where we dominated the first half, we pressed them really well, and it was, as Canva says, it was entertaining. It was really great to watch. It was almost like the Spurs that we know and love. That's the reason why we're Spurs fans, to watch that kind of performance, wasn't it?
Yeah, exactly.
But then the way that second half went, it almost reminded me a little bit of the Bayern Munich game, if you know what I mean. And for me, that there are still question marks over how were things able just to drop to that level where our heads dropped so much and just, able to concede so many goals in that game, I got a little bit of a feel from that, the same sort of thing today.
No, yeah, agreed. And the worrying thing is, that's someone after 5 years at the club. Yeah, it shouldn't be happening in Nuno's first couple of games. Really, you should be hyped to be with a new manager, and do you know what I mean? But my problem, Campbell, with what you're saying is that I'm scared that he has reverted to type. By like you said, he finally realised there was a problem after going 2 goals down, and then his answer was to take off our 2 best footballing midfielders. He's laughing because I've said this about 6 times, But it's so what makes you think that moving forward we are going to be better, and he isn't going to go, look, that's what's happened. When I play attacking football, I have to go back to playing Skip, Dele and Højbjerg and Kane and Son on their own. Like, do you know what I mean?
Okay, so we all know Tanguy cannot play 90 minutes. He struggles to do that, right? And the main problem with, because essentially what happened was we were being matched in midfield, right? And the problem with that is then Chelsea's wider players, the wing backs, they have a lot more width. So now if Tanguy is going, he then leaves too much space. And Tanguy's problem is he doesn't run. He can't run. So like, working against the ball, he then leaves too much space behind, if you get what I'm saying. He will either get there very late or he'll leave too much space behind. And I think that's the same thing with us also. Do I think that like going forward, playing the both of them is, actually, this is just my opinion, but I think that playing the both of them isn't the best idea going forward, just because then Lucas Moura is not on the field. But that aside, I don't think he's going to revert to type because he I don't know.
You're hoping. You're hoping, Kamba. That is. I'm sorry to put negativity on it, but and I really respect.
Okay. Wait. Okay. The only reason why I don't think he'll revert to type is because when I've seen Nuno at Valencia, and what he was like a, because you get your Peps and your Klopps and all that type, and then like they're ideologues, so they come in with the philosophy and they stick to it, right? Nuno has never been that guy. Nuno's been a problem solver, right? He'll have a problem and then he'll solve it by playing this player there or doing this with that. Or like, for example, like he had a problem with Adama Traore. Adama Traore technically is awful. He's terrible. He's not a good footballer. He's an athlete though. So then what he did was, okay, cool. How do you do that? You put him in the right wing back, or you put him in the right wing. You just make him run out wide, right? And I think Nuno, especially in the first couple of games, was a problem solver. He saw that, for example, our defenders, they can't do a high pressing system, right? So then, okay, cool. You then sit back and you try to control the game as best as you possibly can. You try to cover up the half spaces and you try to control the game as best as you can. But now that Romero is in, you then have someone who's a little more geared towards a pressing style. So I think that's going on his previous jobs and what I've seen from him, especially at like Wolves, he's been a problem solver, and I think he sees that our creativity is a problem, because even though Tanguy is on the pitch, I don't think Tanguy is an elite creator. I think he's more of a ball progressor, an elite ball progressor. But when it comes to the final pass, I don't think he's that much involved in that part of the game. And I think playing a little more attacking, pushing up the pitch, and just being more attacking is gonna help that. One thing I will add just to my last point. A lot of people then look at the stats, because I'm a bit of a stats nerd. A lot of people don't look at the stats are going to see that we were terrible, like we were awful. I was looking at the stats whilst I was waiting, and we were truly battered. But I think one of the problems with the stats is they don't look. A lot of the stats are based on output. They don't consider the things that are happening within the ebb and flow of the game.
Yes.
And I feel like within that, aside from key moments here and there, and Nuno making the mistake of not at least changing the system tactically, just when Chelsea changed it, we were good. And I feel like if we go into this game, if we go into Arsenal and the next couple of games, at least with semblance of a front foot playing side, then we should at least challenge for Europe. Because I think our squad is talented enough.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think there's still some positives to take out of today, even though we lost 3-0, because I think the first half performance showed me that we can play in a way that can hurt a lot of teams. If that wasn't Chelsea, we would have probably won today. I do believe that. Unfortunately, they were the sort of team that were able to see what was going on, make the little tweaks, and actually be able to counter what we were trying to do, and they did that very well. But I agree with you, Cam, but I actually think there's some positives to take out of today, even despite the fact that we lost, and statistically it didn't look that good, especially just the first half. And we can play that aggressive style and press as well, which is that's our bread and butter as Spurs, is to be able to do that, and when we do that with the players that we've got, I think we can hurt a lot of teams.
If Nuno going forward plays like this, like sets us up like how we did in the first half, I'm not. Maybe Dele doesn't need to play, and you can play Skip in there instead.
Yeah.
But you're still playing 2 attacking midfielders, or you
On Dele, sorry. Hi, on Dele, right? I'm a bit of a Dele fan because I'm South African and he's part Nigerian, but whatever. Dele, like in terms of defensively at least, he's been one of our best midfielders. Like honestly speaking, when you look at like tackles and pressures and all that type of stuff, he's actually up there with Lucas and so forth. I just think that within the system, of course, Dele's problem is that his skill is not on the ball. So often when people, especially Premier League fans who tend to value like players taking the game by the scruff of the neck, is that the saying?
Yes.
We don't tend to focus on like the off-ball stuff, that Dele tends to do. I'm not gonna lie, he wasn't the best today because I do feel he was quite deep, and I feel as if he's a bit more advanced, and those spaces open up, which they do happen. It's just that no one passes him the ball, or he does what he does best, which is a dummy runner, which is in his opening up space, which is something that he still does very, very well today. I just think he's important to have on the pitch, and Dele Alli hasn't been as bad as what people are making him out to be. I think. Minus in this game.
I think he has some brilliant attributes. He always had, but without a Dembele dominating midfield, he's too much of a luxury to have on the field for me because he can't do enough on the ball for me to be a midfielder. He could be a forward if you wanted him to be a forward. If you want him to be a forward where he doesn't need to do as much on the ball and he's running and getting on the end of things, fair enough. But we don't have enough room for him as a forward because I'm not playing him. Not playing him over Son or him over whoever, Lucas, or even I'd probably still have Lo Celso on the right over him, to be honest.
You want a harder working midfielder in there, don't you?
Well, no. Dele is very hard working. That's exactly what Cam's saying.
He's not fast though, is he?
He's fast enough. He's not good enough on the ball. And when you're not good enough on the ball, you bring your own defensive problems because Dele loses the ball too many times and brings pressure on the team. So it doesn't matter if he's making up for it by putting in loads of pressures, loads of interceptions. If he cannot wriggle his way out of trouble and make a pass, then he's going to bring more problems on. Ndombele is probably the most offensive defensive player that we have in our squad. Do you know what I mean?
I agree. I think the only problem with Dele with this game is that he was just playing too deep, and that's on Nuno. That's all.
Yeah. Fair enough. Yeah.
Anyway, I don't know how many. Is this the last one?
Yeah,
Jake?
Last one.
Is this the last one?
It is the last one.
Yeah, this is the last one.
Yeah.
Canva, this is the first time I've spoken to you, but absolutely first class, mate.
Great
absolutely
call.
First class. IQ of 1,000, I think. This one.
Yeah. Honestly,
really great insights. Brilliant.
Follow me
really,
on
really
Twitter,
good.
Canva. I'd love to have some conversations because he knows what he's talking about.
Yeah, you do, man. You do. You really see it in a deep sort of technical way. So love that. Come back on again, yeah.
Hold on. Okay. Hold on. Come on, you Spurs.
Come on, you Spurs. There we go. Oh yeah. No, he's right. You could see he thinks about the game a lot.
Yeah, he does.
Very
and
good, great
about
insights.
What he was going to say as well.
Yeah, superb.
So in conclusion,
Josh, let's talk.
In conclusion.
Do you think Ndombele or Lo Celso should have stayed on the pitch?
No, I don't, John.
Yeah, exactly. No, here's a serious question. Did you enjoy it with me today?
Yeah, I did. I really
Even despite the result. Did you enjoy being in the studio today?
Yeah, it's probably the best way to get over it because I feel like I've what I'd usually do, I'd shut off from a result.
Yeah.
And not, but I've kind of therapeutically, I'm already almost over it now.
Yeah, we drunk our way through it.
Yeah, we did.
Yeah, it's a weird one, isn't it? Because I feel like we lost 3-0, but there's still some things that I can see in that. I have hope for going forwards, but then there's also a few things that I'm like, still there's some things we're not really creating enough. But I haven't totally given up on Nuno.
No.
And there are some things in that team where I was like, we're pressing aggressively first half, and I really like that. And that was probably as good as some of the things we saw in the City game as well.
Yeah, do you know what? That's right. To be as positive, leave it on a positive note.
Yeah.
Because I've given Nuno some stick.
Yep.
I'll tell you now, that is much better football than we ever played under Mourinho. Like even when we were scoring and doing well, we were just playing kind of counter-attack football.
It was pragmatic football under Mourinho, but getting the results,
exactly. But we never really played that great pressing, cutting through teams, like just brilliant one-touch football.
Which is what we're about, isn't it? In our DNA.
Exactly.
So you want to see that, don't you?
And Nuno showed that in the first half. So although I've given him a bit of stick, it's not over for him or anything like that. I'm not saying like
he's still learning, isn't he? He's still developing, and he's still trying to understand like how we play. And we've got a lot of players that are just coming back from injury, quarantine. How many players just go down holding their ankle during every game at the moment? And your heart's in your mouth, isn't it? It's like that at the moment. Our players are held together with chewing gum and spit.
Oh God, Son and Dyer were fit, but
they might not have been fit. They might have just been forced into this game. So I would like to see what happens when Nuno's got all the personnel match fit to his disposal, and then we can really judge it from there. But it was 3-0 today, terrible result. But I guess we got the Gooners next week, and if we win that, then suddenly
we're going to win that game. 100%.
All right, there we go. Well, we'll finish on that note.
Go on, at least get a draw. Sorry, I forgot we haven't beat them at the Emirates in about
2010. No, one of those anyway.
Something like that.
Van der Vaart,
Kabul,
wasn't it? The header. Just like to say for everyone, please give some love to Josh King in the comments section. On his home debut with me, at least. Great job from Josh today.
Thanks,
this
guys.
is what can happen if you are a Gold member. If you become a Gold member, you become part of the family. Then we invite you in, and you can take the hot seat as well. This is what we do. Do you have a channel to plug or anything like that?
No.
Do you want to plug anything?
Go follow me on Twitter if you want, Josh King COYS. That's about it. At Josh King COYS.
Yeah, cool. All right, great. Also, thanks to Jake. He does the hard work in the background, our producer over here. He's like a swan, you see the show going like perfectly swimming along, but there's some feet flapping along underneath the water. That's the job of Jake in the background here. So thanks to him. Thanks to all your super chats. I think we got through them all. Thanks for all your comments. The game was shambles, not good, shambolic, but we live to fight another day. So cheers for everyone for watching the watch along with us, and we will see you in the next show. Cheers.
Thanks, guys.